2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
The idea about eating a bowl of Skyline chili, pie eating contest style, with like your hands behind your back, that is just going to be an awful look. And that's going to live on the internet for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, doesn't bother me at all. In fact, I'm kind of hoping I lose. And you know when a baby eats spaghetti and the spaghetti sauce gets all over it? I'm just picturing that.
Kids just like eat naked mostly for like the first several years of their life.
I have all these pictures of my two girls when they were young. It looks like they were just like bleeding from everywhere. It was just tomato sauce over their entire upper half.
It looks like a horror show.
They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Oh, welcome to the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. We're back from vacation. We both look 10 years younger, if I do say so myself. YouTube.com/CBS Sports Radio, because, you know, our jobs are so difficult. We get to sit here and talk sports all day.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you tune in on YouTube, you will see a very tan Andrew Perloff.
No. It looks like you were vacationing in Antarctica.
All the freckles sometimes meld together to make me look a little tan. But
Keep telling yourself.
I was overseas, but my sunscreen came with me, so I am not tan. I'm sorry. But you look very relaxed. I almost didn't recognize you today.
I know. I was like, should I just get the facelift now? No. So we're back. We're here. This is it. We're now here, and we're 17 days away from the NFL season. We're college football week 0 right now, people. We're officially on the clock for college football, and we couldn't be happier to be back. We want to say a good afternoon to the Weedos and the Purple Drinkers in the chat, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio. We say welcome back to our CBS Sports Radio affiliates. Of course, Sirius XM channel 158. Now, one thing that has changed since you and I were on vacation last week is you have come back with this like renewed love and fervor for Jordan Love.
Wait, I already loved him.
You already loved him, but this is like on a 10 now. What happened to you overseas?
So I'm just looking at different photos of Jordan Love to decide what should his hair length be when he gets his statue in Canton for the Hall of Fame.
Oh, wow.
Because I've seen enough.
Told you.
I've seen enough in 2 preseason games He has looked very, very solid against the Patriots and the Bengals. Preseason, I know it's just preseason, but we've seen a little bit of Jordan Love. This is going to be his, fourth year now? He played enough that we know the dude can at least win a game for you, right? But what you see in preseason, Jordan Love, he just can make all the throws, incredible arm. He can move very well. And it seems like, he's not a new guy. He knows this team. Romeo Doubs and Watson and all these receivers, they've worked with Jordan Love on the practice squad. They know Jordan Love really well. It feels like an amazing amount of continuity for a new quarterback, and he's got all the physical skills. That's why I think he's going to be a star.
Okay, first of all, he should be ahead of schedule. He's been in the building. He's been there with Coach LaFleur. He should understand the ins and outs here. I'm not expecting him to be a PhD level, but he should be damn near close.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm not going to give him more kudos or more pats on the back like he's coming in as a rookie. This is not Bryce Young and CJ Stroud. He should look a lot better than your average guy. But I'm sorry, I can't with the preseason looking good. When he played in regular season games, which was very sparingly, he was fine. He was okay.
But he's young. Of course, okay as a 23-year-old quarterback who barely played in college at Utah State. Being okay, you got to move the bar.
That doesn't translate to all of a sudden now you're going to beat the Lions and you're going to beat the Bears and you're going to beat the Vikings. There's still going to be a wake-up call here for the Packers in terms of, getting used to the new guy after being with Rodgers for 15 years.
Well, he's going to beat the Bears.
I don't know that he's going to beat the Bears.
He's the Packers quarterback.
Nope, that doesn't
all beat the Bears.
apply.
And you said the Vikings, the Bears, and the Lions. It's not exactly murderer's row. It's not the AFC East or the AFC North. He has a great chance here because he's got a veteran team around him, a team that was built basically for Aaron Rodgers, drafting a lot of defense. They have first-round picks at every position on defense. They have Aaron Jones in the backfield to help him, A.J. Dillon, and they have receivers who are getting a year under their belt, getting a full camp. They're going to be so much better.
Perloff, they had all that last year with a future Hall of Fame quarterback, and they couldn't make the playoffs.
Well, but Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson needed a year of experience. And also, Rodgers was hurt in and out. I mean, he had a lot of little nicks and cuts. And Rodgers wasn't really mentally engaged. Honestly,
he wasn't mentally engaged.
Oh,
Why?
that! Oh,
because the ayahuasca, the darkness retreat.
Aaron Rodgers didn't want to be there at the beginning of the year. He's like, "Why do you have this young team around me?" Then he sort of got into it towards the end. You think that Aaron Rodgers was into it last year?
I do. Yeah, I think he was trying to win a Super Bowl up until he realized that the team wasn't good enough. And
wait. Did we talk about it? You talked about this. He barely showed up in the offseason.
Well, but neither did Brady at the end of his career, and he still was able to win a Super Bowl 45.
Rodgers looked so disinterested last year compared to this year. This year, he's Mr. Jet.
I know, but he's doing it for the camera. I don't know how he's doing it. He's doing it for the cameras / to prove a point to the Packers.
History repeats itself. I was just in Europe, and you get the sense of history there. This is Green Bay Packers. This is what they do, Maggie. They draft quarterbacks in the first round when they already have one. It just feels like it's going to be a 3-decade succession of good quarterback play. Jordan Love, I'll tell you right now.
Good. You had 2 first-ballot Hall of Famers, and then Jordan Love. We don't know.
I will admit that maybe second or third ballot. Maybe third ballot. Yeah. Depends who's going in. No, he looks like a very physically skilled quarterback. It's not the smoothness, the sort of lack of panic that he has now. Now, that could change. But even when he was playing the last couple of years, when he got in there, he never looked like the stage was too big for him, like he was nervous. Seems like a cool guy. I think this is a very interesting team and a very interesting quarterback. Now, I'm not putting him in my MVP talk. I'm giving him the Jalen.
You're about to say yet.
No. I'm giving him the Jalen Hurts trajectory. Okay. He's going to have one 9-8 season where he's going to be really good and the stats are going to look okay. That's going to set up next year's explosion.
Okay, well, then I hope he can run the ball because that's what happened with Jalen Hurts.
He can run.
That first year when the Eagles basically made the playoffs for the right to get destroyed by the Bucs in the first round, and people weren't sure if Jalen Hurts was going to still be a starter after that, it was because they went to running the ball. Now, maybe they'll do that in Green Bay. And you know what? They should do that in Green Bay because you have 2 great running backs there. And if you're not trailing in games and you don't need Jordan Love to bring you back from 2 scores down or whatever, you should be running the ball.
I think Jordan Love was more of a passer than Jalen Hurts was in college, too. I think he's ahead. Jalen Hurts needs to catch up as far as reps at passing the ball. And now he's caught up. Now he's amazing.
I love how you, like, going into an old church in Europe or something was, like, made you think about the Packers' history, too.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that's basically the cathedral that we have in the Midwest.
These are lessons that we refuse to learn at times, but if we do that, we're making a mistake. This is the Green Bay Packers, and everyone killed Brian Gutekunst because they made Aaron Rodgers mad. Now, 7 weeks into the season, I'm going to say, like, okay, the Packers, I get it. Rodgers is doing great in New York. I think Rodgers is going to be fantastic with the Jets. But I do think that Green Bay fans have every reason to be excited because there's a chance this is the next 12 years or 15 years.
All right. Start off the season. It's not going to be crazy, at least on paper. You're at the Bears, so it's going to be a tougher game. Did you read Peter King this morning? Said the Bears' offense is looking electric, guys. When's the last time that anyone described the Bears' offense as looking electric outside of Justin Fields just running for his life last year?
You know I edited Peter King for 3 years.
Yeah, no, I know you know.
I know, Peter. When Peter predicts anything for fantasy or anything like that, Peter himself will admit run for the – and he goes to the camp and falls in love with these people, as I do too. I am not scared of that Bear. And let's face it, Green Bay has always owned that stadium. I think they're okay, but Chicago's improved. I still like the Packers in that one. Then it gets easy.
Bears at Falcons, Saints, Lions, at Raiders, at Broncos, until you get back around to the Vikings.
Yeah, I think that division is really wide open, the NFC North. We have no idea. The Vikings look like, by all means, they're going to take a step back. The analytics people do not like the Vikings.
They did last year.
The Bears were the worst team in the NFL last year. I know they're exciting. And the Lions, when's the last time the Lions were in the playoffs, Maggie?
Well, but you love the Lions.
I do love the Lions.
I know. I'm the one who's telling you. I do love the Lions.
You love them just as much as me.
But I'm loving the Bears more than I'm loving the Lions.
What?
Yeah.
Wait. Like they're going to have a better record? Or just
so.
Compared to expectation?
Well, the expectations for the Lions are bananas.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I get it. They had a really good end of the second half last year, and that was great, and they pulled it together to beat the Packers even when they weren't playing for anything. But that does not mean you are red carpeted into the playoffs here. So to your point, I think Jordan Love has a chance here, but I can't go around anointing him yet. Call me a Jordan Love skeptic. That's where I'm going to sit right here with my skepticism.
I'm going to tell you right now, it's very disappointing to me that you do not believe in love. Love, the concept of love.
You've
with
been
the
waiting
heart.
for that.
Yeah, I haven't made one love pun yet. Even though on Twitter I said today was going to be a Jordan Love fest on the Maggie and Perloff show. I just think that, you've obviously been burned by football in the past. You have trouble being optimistic. Jordan Love's going to be a star. Just get ready for it.
All right. You agree with Perloff, 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. I'm just not sold. I don't think it's going to go that seamlessly here, and I'm not giving out, awards because you look competent in an offense that you've had all the time in the world to learn. And I know it's different going out there and having to do it yourself, but that and a couple preseason games, I just can't. Or I'm sorry, a preseason, a couple drives. Can't do it.
I did an exercise today. I was looking at Jordan Love, every snap he did this preseason, and then I looked at last year's preseason. He looked great then, too.
You're keeping preseason stats?
If you want to watch Jordan Love highlights, you have to watch a lot of preseason.
I know. You're not getting much during the year.
I think the Packers knew what they had when they sort of maybe didn't call Aaron Rodgers back. You go back to February. They didn't seem eager to really bring Aaron Rodgers back. I think they're ready to at least try Jordan Love, and I think it's exciting.
The funny part is after they drafted Jordan Love, then they went on to give Rodgers a massive contract. Like that part of it still, if they really wanted to move on, they had the opportunity. And instead they were like, we'll give Rodgers $100 million.
That was the old, if you want to make God laugh, make a plan.
Yeah.
So they planned the succession, and then they realized, oh, man, Rodgers is better than we thought. Let's throw all this money. Then they missed the playoffs, and now it's Jordan Love time.
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. All right, we're back. We've got so much to get into, but we start off with the Packers today and want to know what you think about Jordan Love and about the AFC North and the Packers. Are you this sold as Perloff is? I told you, I wasn't overselling this. You went on vacation.
I love Jordan Love.
You left the country as a Jordan Love fan. You came back as a Jordan Love sycophant. Super fan.
I saw enough. I'm ready to go. You know my plan, by the way. And
what's that?
To order 2 jerseys.
No, don't do it.
Yes. The Eagles jersey and the Packers jersey, and put them right here,
Don't do
wall
it.
to wall.
Hey, love hurts.
I know that's what he's.
Thank you,
going
Mike.
for.
Thanks you for spelling it out. I was doing build up there so I could say it.
Way to come crashing in on the joke, Samter. It's like we're mid-season form.
By the way, and
Who needed a warm-up? We're in the first segment. We're back.
if he's bad, then we could play the song "Love Stinks," which none of you are even old enough to remember.
No.
Love Stinks. You don't know that song?
We'll have to get Schlereth in here.
855-212-4CBS. Stink. You get it. 855-212-4227. Okay.
Wait, you guys really don't know the song "Love Stinks" by the Jay Giles Band? Oh my God, you youngsters!
The who?
Did you ever hear "Angel in the Centerfold"? That song by the Jay
Yes.
Giles Band?
Oh, I've seen Angel in the Centerfold. Isn't that like it's mandatory? They must play that at every strip club in America.
Yeah. My homeroom angel it's a really kind of a adult song that when I was 8 years old, I rocked out to. Yeah, my favorite band when I was a little kid was the Jay Giles Band. Love Stinks. You got to play that coming back in the next segment. It's a great song.
Okay.
You guys are all going to be into it.
And Perloff loved the song Angel in the Centerfold. Shocker.
Oh, yeah.
Teenage Perloff. Coming up. All right. Could Aaron Rodgers be around a little longer than any of us thought? We've got some update on that. I do want to bring your attention to something that's going to happen a little bit later on in the show. We don't generally do what they call deep teases on this show, but I'm going to do it. Coming up in the final hour of the show, so 5 o'clock Eastern time, Billy Walters is going to join us. Now, you may not know his name off of first glance, but all the Phil Mickelson news you've been reading about how much Phil was betting on sports, Billy Walters was his betting partner for 5 years. He's the one who is put out all the information about Phil and how much he was gambling, the frequency, the amounts. He's got receipts on everything, and he has a new memoir called Gambler Secrets from a Life at Risk, and he will join us later in the show.
It's so interesting. And not just Phil Mickelson. He's fascinating.
I mean, my first question for Billy is how many times was a gun pulled on you? Because I lost count as I was reading the book. So we've got all that for you. He's played golf with Michael Jordan. I mean, crazy stuff from a crazy life. So that'll be later in the show. But up next, again, we got a little bit more on Aaron Rodgers. We'll get to that. Also, there's like an out of nowhere report that kind of has me on the verge of a meltdown. So we'll get to that. Again, so much to do. Glad you're with us. It is Maggie and Perloff back from vacation. And this show is sponsored in part by BetterHelp. Sometimes in life we're faced with tough choices and the path forward. It isn't always clear, Perloff, whether you're dealing with decisions around career, relationships, or anything else. Therapy helps you stay connected to what you really want while you navigate life so you can move forward with confidence and excitement. Trusting yourself to make decisions that align with your values, it's like anything. The more you practice it, the easier it gets. Therapy can give you the tools to find more balance in your life so you can keep supporting others without leaving yourself behind.
You know, we've all been through some unpredictable times over the past few years, and it's not a sign of weakness to ask for help. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Let therapy be your map with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/MNP. That's BetterHelp.com/MANDP today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/MNP.
You're in a 4-minute break.
Okay. All right. Get a little 80s in the house.
This was your favorite band.
No. I just remember when I was a kid, this was a huge song. They were like #1 or something. Love Stinks. And My Angel Was a Centerfold, which could never get written today, by the way.
No.
It's completely, the plot of My Angel is a Centerfold is that the girl sitting next to him in homeroom class is really in the middle of Playboy.
Yeah, right.
I don't think
think they ever say the magazine.
Well, what else has centerfolds? I hope it's not. Yeah, I was going to say, I hope Playboy. I was trying to keep it. Yeah, I mean, I think you would have to be 18. I have no idea. Listen, that's old school stuff. We're not even going to get to that. But we are not going to have the Love Stinks. We're getting a Jordan Love jersey in the building.
Yeah.
We have enough Bills stuff to decorate your entire side. But I want Jordan Love, and I want Jalen Hurts, and I want to put Love Hurts.
Yeah.
Because I'm a dad, and it's a dad pun, and it's cool, and it's two very good quarterbacks.
Yeah, I see that you are on this Jordan Love train. It's just like getting in. It's just too much right now. We haven't seen nearly enough for you to be this excited about him. But
what? I feel like I'm not alone. Isn't everybody here excited about Jordan Love? Stu didn't even sleep this weekend. He was so amped up about Jordan Love.
Stu's got his own quarterback situation to be excited about. Look at Jimmy Garoppolo was looking pretty good in preseason.
No, Maggie. I know.
By the way,
I know how this ends.
Oh, poor Stu.
Jared Stidham looked pretty good, but he's not wearing a Raiders jersey.
He's not.
Yeah.
Aiden O'Connell. Maybe.
Oh.
When Jimmy G gets hurt, maybe Aiden O'Connell will step in a couple
You just
games.
can't quit it, can you?
Nope.
Another deep tease, by the way. Later in the show, I have about 9 rookies that I'm as excited, if not more excited, for than Jordan Love, and Aiden O'Connell's at the top of that list. Oh, my God. I am ready to annoy. First of all, Jimmy G, who? It is Aiden O'Connell time in Vegas. He looked great. He has this cool mustache. Aiden O'Connell could walk in here, the former Purdue quarterback.
Yeah.
Who I wouldn't know him until the other day. He was really
That was
good.
your favorite?
Ripped off his helmet. He's got this terrible mustache. He is the man.
Well, speaking of people who are growing terrible mustaches, let's check in on Aaron Rodgers.
What the is Aaron Rodgers up to today?
Talking. That's what he's up to. Listen, to be fair, we're eating it up. So I'm not, down on Rodgers for literally speaking into every microphone and every camera that he can find. And he said this with a friend of mine, Otis Livingston, so that's cool. Aaron Rodgers talks about his long-term plan for the Jets.
I think we're going to be competitive here for a long time. I'd like to be able to play a few good years here and then hand it right back off to Zach and let him go for the next 15, and it'd be a really special 18 to 20-year run of great quarterback play.
I mean,
you think I'm delusional about Jordan Love? 20-year. Okay, now we have a 20-year run of great quarterback play for the Jets.
Yeah, it doesn't sound right when you say it out loud.
I've been skeptical about this whole project from the beginning, Maggie.
Yeah.
I've wondered if Aaron Rodgers was going to work, or was it going to be like Brett Favre when he came to New York? Everything is so unbelievably positive. Hard Knocks is amazing. Rodgers looks great. He's saying all the right things. It's too positive, and you know it. It's just too good.
Well,
it's way too good to be true. What he just said just points to what is this over positivity in Jets camp.
I don't know. It's like, it's the over positivity, but also like this is like jumping the shark or whatever. It's like it's one thing to be excited about Rodgers. Rodgers being in the New York Jets, I realize is exciting. Somehow thinking that he's going to pass the torch to Zach Wilson, who's going to go on for 15 years of dominance or whatever in New York. It's like, it's unbelievable to me. It's like you lost me. I was along the ride for all the positivity and all the change in the culture and not same old Jets, even though every new coach and person who comes to the Jets says not the same old Jets. I was buying all of that, but now it's like you're heat checking and you just pulled up from the logo and just in an ill-advised shot, and now you lost me.
No, this is close to a North Korean leader saying he shot 20 under par on a golf course, or Vladimir Putin scoring 8 goals in a hockey game. This is just
propaganda.
This is propaganda. Yeah, it just feels a little too far. I mean, listen, Zach Wilson looks good. He does. And he looked
again, preseason.
He looks great.
You read into it if you want to.
He's a guy who looks great in shorts. And he kind of looked good last year in shorts, too. So maybe, we both agree that this is way too far. Are you more open to the idea of Zach Wilson being an NFL quarterback now with Aaron Rodgers as his mentor than you were last year at this time when he really struggled?
maybe.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, but I'm not going to pencil in 15 years of dominance here or whatever he said. 15 years of strong quarterback play. I can't do that. I mean, there was some talent here for Zach Wilson. Clearly, he was taken second overall for a reason. But I can't buy it. The bigger thing I took away out of this is Rodgers really playing in another 3 years?
Yeah. Well, do the math. He said a few years, which usually means 3. Yeah. And he said 15 years of Zach Wilson. So 18 to 20 means 3 to 5 years of Aaron Rodgers.
Exactly. Like, are we seeing a 5-year project here from Aaron Rodgers?
That'd put him in Tom Brady's 39 now. So 4 years, say it was 4 years, cut the difference in half. 43, 44? I don't know. This is crazy because he was talking about retiring 2 years ago.
And went into the darkness retreat 90% retired. I mean,
shouldn't he have said several then? Several more years of good quality play?
Like how many weeks Joe Burrow is out? Yeah. Several weeks. I don't know. I wonder if Rodgers is deluding himself here that this is going to be a much longer run. Also, that'd be just like ridiculous for them to keep Zach Wilson on the roster for 3 years to sit behind Aaron Rodgers. That's like, look what happened in Green Bay.
I know. I mean,
you can't do it.
Right. The Packers looked at the situation and said, we have to find out if Jordan Love's any good because we have to pay this guy. Right. But I think the Jets would be excited to have that problem if they thought maybe there is enough in practice of Zach Wilson that will hold on to him and Rodgers is here for 3 to 5 years. That's a lot better. Honestly, the Favre model is 1 year and done, and he's back somewhere else. When this first started, I thought, oh, you know what? It's going to be hard. AFC East is a tough division. Yeah. The Jets offense has really never been good. There's a lot of unproven weapons around. You know, it's the Jets. They have a lot of bad luck. I thought maybe Rodgers would do 1 year there, and then he'll jump to a even better team. Now I at least
San Francisco or something.
Yeah, San Francisco, exactly. Now I at least believe that he's committed to the Jets.
I believe he's committed to the Jets. Now, also, he said he's going to start the third preseason game. Yeah. And he's going to start. I did not think this was a big deal. Honestly, he's got to take some live reps. So he's going to.
But he never does, though.
Yeah, but he was familiar with that organization forever. I mean, you got to do a little live football here. I don't think we should all start being so scared. I know I'm like the person who's in my bunker all the time and like peeping out through the whole, like I'm always very cautious about things, but I wouldn't be if I were them. He's got to get out there and play with these guys.
But it's same offense. I mean, it's Nathaniel Hackett.
No, but the offensive line is a big question for the Jets.
So why are you putting him out there with this questionable offensive line?
Because he's got to be able to take some snaps with them. I mean, if they're that bad, I know that people have talked about the Jets' offensive line is like this. This is the big question mark. First of all, Salah's the big question mark, but the head coach. But if the offensive line is this big question mark, then you want to know what? You can't hide from that. That means we're going to find out. We're all going to find out whether this experiment is going to go down the drain because of a bad offensive line. That's going to become very apparent very quickly.
I don't know. I would hide as long as I could. If the offensive line is that bad, week 1 against the Bills, arguably the biggest game of week 1, I think everybody's going to watch that. Yeah, I don't know. I generally think that it's okay for guys to play, but I'm nervous. If he twists his ankle, I want you guys to cut what Maggie said there about how he should play.
He'll be fine.
I don't know. He's had like 3 near injuries. Did you guys see last week? He kind of limped. He's limped around at least 3 or 4 times.
He's almost 40. That's why. What do you think you're getting here? Guys who are 23 get hurt all the time. Of course, guys who are 40 are going to get hurt.
Yeah, I mean, preseason, though, it's different. Guys on the other team might not make the team. They'll be a little bit kamikaze or just not really play under control. Yeah. So it's a little nerve-wracking. But Mahomes played this weekend and obviously looked amazing, by the way. Not that he... First of all, no one's talking about the Chiefs because I watched 2 minutes of the preseason and I'm like, they're good.
Yeah.
They're fine. But the Jets, I understand what you're saying. They have not had the continuity of a team like the Chiefs. So there is value to that, but it does make me nervous.
There is a part of watching the Chiefs where it's like, why are we even playing this season? You know, I know anything could happen. I get that. But do you remember there was a stretch where the Cavs and the Warriors played in the finals every year? And it's like, why are we even playing the season? We know that these are the two teams that are going to meet. There feels like an inevitability. I know football's different. You're always one injury away. But Mahomes got injured and still won the Super Bowl. It's
Okay.
It doesn't mean the same thing with him, clearly.
They sort of won the Super Bowl. I mean, there was a bad holding call and the turf was bad.
Now who's getting
They
sensitive?
kind of lucked in. They lucked in, but it was the thinnest possible margin. So it's not like they're so dominant. And they haven't repeated. No one's repeated since 2004. So it's not like they have that much of a hold. I don't think no one's like, oh, I don't have to watch the season. The Chiefs are going to win it all. It's the NFL.
No, I get it. And there was that, bad, personal foul call in the AFC Championship game that put them in field goal range.
That was okay. You thought that was a bad call?
No, I thought the call. I hate that call in the moment,
tough.
But the guy did it. So what are you gonna?
So
you're not gonna call it?
Am I sensing something here that the Chiefs are they your new Patriots? Where the Patriots tortured you as a Bills fan for years, you kind of felt hopeless.
Yeah.
Now you sound hopeless that anybody can beat Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs.
Listen, this isn't just me as a Bills fan. Everyone in the NFL who's not a fan of the Chiefs should be thinking about this, right?
I'm an Eagles fan. We don't think about that at all. We want to go right back to Las Vegas and play them again.
Yeah, well, you should have taken care of it the first time.
It's not my fault. It's not my fault. The NFL wants to play the Super Bowl on an ice skating rink.
I know. Weird that it didn't affect the Chiefs.
That's because the Chiefs are an offensive team. And listen, Hassan Reddick couldn't do anything, and he's one of the best players. Whatever. We're not going to relitigate this.
I know. See, I've known this whole time that it's been deep-seated right underneath the surface. You came back from the Super Bowl. You stayed for the game. I came home. And I was like, how you feeling? You're like, no, I'm good. I'm fine. And you've been repressing it for all these months. And now that the football's starting up again, these old feelings are bubbling to the surface.
Well, you're like, the Chiefs are unbeatable. I'm like, they're very clearly beatable because the Eagles should have beaten them. And I don't even think that's such a hot take.
I was the one who said I thought Jalen Hurts could have been MVP of the Super Bowl in a losing effort.
He was amazing. One thing I will tell you, if Patrick Mahomes was fully healthy, well, that's a different story. He was limping at halftime, limping around the stadium, much like Aaron Rodgers will be after 9 snaps with that offensive line in front of him.
Might as well find out now in the preseason. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. You're welcome to weigh in on Aaron Rodgers. Go ahead. You can also find us on Twitter at Maggie and Pearl. Yes. At Maggie and Perloff on Instagram. I got to get all of my
Threads.
My vacation brain. Yes, Threads. We're on Threads. TikTok, or Samter has become the TikTok maestro. Congratulations, Samter. You're now a senior in high school. You really dominated the TikTok space.
More like
we appreciate it.
From Lucy, so
more like an 8th grader.
Yeah, sorry.
Seriously.
You're Benjamin Button.
By the way, has anyone in the chat supported my Jay Giles love, or is that just over everyone's head? Ack. Yeah, well, I do that. Love Stinks, classic, right?
Tremendous. Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. Freeze Frame, how many Jay Giles band songs can you name?
Just Can't Wait. I had to think of them, but I got a couple on my iPod or whatever, my iPhone. Same thing, you know what I'm talking about.
Ack still does have an iPod, though.
Ack's got an 8-track.
I actually, no, I never had one, but I do have my cassette decks at home.
So you a big 80s music guy?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So.
You guys want to just go bond over that for a second while we do the show?
I don't know.
Must have got Lost as an all-time favorite.
That's Jay Giles?
Yes.
I don't know that one.
Okay.
Yeah, there are a lot of 80s fans. You don't have to be old like me and Ack to appreciate 80s music.
I love
it's
80s
super
music.
Yeah,
we talk about Cyndi Lauper, all that stuff.
I like 50s and 60s, too, and that's way before me.
Right.
Yeah. Also, big Drake fan. Didn't know that about Ackerman.
What's that?
Rich Ackerman.
What?
Big Drake fan.
Oh.
It spans all genres. 855-212-4CBS.
No, he's more like Sugar Hill Gang. I don't think.
Maybe. 855-212-4227. One thing that was surprising in terms of music taste. Can we listen to Bill Belichick? Bill Belichick was talking on the Greg Hill show in WEEI in Boston. Didn't know he was a Swiftie.
Did you go to any other concerts leading up to it this summer?
Yeah, saw a little bit of Taylor.
That's my guy.
We were wondering about that.
Yeah.
Did you get rained out? Were you at that show?
That was pretty impressive.
Yeah,
she
killed it.
She's tough, man. She just stood out there and played right through it.
Your new starting linebacker for the New England Patriots, Tay-Tay.
Stu and Belichick had so much in common.
Yeah, I know. Stu was at that Taylor Swift show.
Oh, my gosh. That's one of the many.
This.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's definitely Bill Belichick's girlfriend made him go to this concert, right? We all agree on that.
Definitely. Or was someone else in his life, probably. But imagine you're Tom Brady. and you couldn't get a compliment out of Bill Belichick for 20 years, okay? Couldn't get a compliment. He never made you player of the week. He's telling you the kid at Foxborough High School can throw better than you can, and all of a sudden, because Taylor Swift performed in the rain, she gets the compliments. Brady's got to be like, I played on with concussions, knees, elbows, broken fingers, broken toes.
She doesn't play for him.
Right, apparently.
That's the key.
If I'm Brady, I'm incensed.
She's tough, man.
Yeah, she's tough. Tom Brady, never heard of him. She's just like everyone. Oh, 12, number 12. We don't go by last names around here, you know?
If she was a Patriot, you'd hear like, "Oh, Shakira's better than you."
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Never would have gone to one of her shows.
You know,
if she
that
actually
show,
played
it was
for the
only
Patriots.
2:43. You could have played longer.
Yeah,
You know?
50 songs. Shakira played 53. So
Wait, is this Taylor Swift's tour still going on?
this is the tour that will never end. We're just all living in her tour now.
Yeah, there's an international tour coming up, and then she's coming back to the States for another tour.
Oh, okay.
City she didn't hit the first time.
But this was a little while ago that she was at Foxborough. This wasn't this weekend.
Yeah, that was like May, I believe.
Yeah, it was before.
You know who I'm into?
The Jay Giles band.
DeAndre Swift. Can we talk about him on my fantasy team?
Yeah.
I'm a Swiftie, just a little different. Former Georgia running back.
We know him.
Yeah, she looked great in the preseason. Not as tough as Taylor, apparently.
Yeah, but does he play in the rain? 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Okay, you're welcome to weigh in on Aaron Rodgers. Welcome to weigh in on Bill Belichick coming up. Again, the out-of-nowhere report that really has me on the verge of a meltdown. Get to that after this CBS Sports Update. Here's Rich Ackerman.
CBS Sports Radio. Sports Flash.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Insurance for motorcycles, boats, RVs, for protection on the road and on the water. See how much you can save at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com. Michigan won't have head coach Jim Harbaugh to start the season. The school has issued a self-imposed 3-game suspension due to illegal contact with recruits during COVID. Harbaugh will miss the Wolverines games against East Carolina, UNLV, and Bowling Green. USC quarterback Caleb Williams leads this year's AP All-America team, joined by 4 Georgia Bulldogs, including tight end Brock Bowers, and Marvin Harrison Jr. is one of 3 Ohio State players named to the squad. The defending champion Astros are playoff bound as of now, but still looking to win the division. They didn't help their own cause this weekend when they were swept by the red-hot Mariners. They'll open a series against the Red Sox tonight. Houston 2.5 back in the AL West, while the Astros hold the second wild card, 4.5 games behind the Rays and a half game up on those aforementioned Mariners. Seattle's won 6 in a row, and 14 of 17 will take on the White Sox on the south side of Chicago. I'm Rich Ackerman.
Football season's almost here. From the college game to the NFL, no one has you covered like CBS Sports Radio. Find us 24/7 on your local Odyssey affiliate, SiriusXM Channel 158, streaming online, or the free Odyssey app.
CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Time to Ask the Pros, where you, the listener, gets to ask the question, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Sorry, I did not acknowledge that was Taylor Swift.
I know.
Simply tweet your question at CBS Sports Radio or at Maggie and Pearl using the hashtag Ask the Pros. Be listening later in the show when we might answer your question. Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get guaranteed low prices and excellent customer service from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Man, Bill Belichick would have loved this song.
I think he must.
Do you think he dances at a concert?
No, definitely not. Someone could have a cell phone camera out, like, on him, and then it'll be all over the internet. No way.
Remember, Brady got nabbed down in Brazil dancing thing. I'm in Brazil. No one's ever going to catch how bad I am at this thing.
No way. You can't hide anywhere these days if you're famous.
Yeah. Trust me, I don't dance at anything, and that's why.
You weren't dancing in Europe?
Yes, actually, we did have a dance party. We were. It's kind of embarrassing. I don't know why. We were on a cruise.
Yeah.
And one night there was a dance party. that I participated in because I'm like, these people will never see me again. It doesn't matter. I'm a terrible dancer. My wife already knows I'm a terrible dancer.
Perloff's out there doing like the electric slide.
But then we did a game night, and it was awesome, where basically they played a TV theme song, and you had to guess the show. And I was so into it that I've recreated it for later in the show for you and Mike Samter.
Oh, wow. Oh, because you and Stu are in cahoots on this.
Stu helped me, and also Stu would not know any of this. Stu has never watched a TV show in his life.
No, he hasn't.
I knew one of the four. I'll say that.
Wait, not the theme song, just the show.
I knew both.
Oh, okay.
I've heard. Yeah, not to give anything away, but yes, I knew one of the 4 songs.
Wow. All right. Do you want to do this now, or should we just do it later?
We got to do it later because
Okay.
we have some breaking news. I understand.
Yeah. So if you just heard Rich Ackerman's sports update, you got it there. But this is big news. So Jim Harbaugh is going to be suspended for the first 3 games of Michigan's football season. Now, it's a self-imposed suspension. So essentially what they're trying to do is show the NCAA, like, hey, you don't have to discipline us. We're disciplining ourselves. And I'm going to not coach against East Carolina, UNLV, and Bowling Green. Now, if you're like, Maggie, this story sounds vaguely familiar. I thought this already got worked out. You'd be right. Everyone thought this got worked out months ago when Harbaugh was supposed to have a 4-game suspension, but the deal fell apart with the NCAA, so now they're doing a 3-game suspension, and they're doing this as it's week 0 here. We've got, Notre Dame and USC playing this weekend.
God, I keep just staring at this Michigan schedule. So they have these first 3 games. Not only are they against cupcakes relatively, they're at home. Then they have a 4th game at home against Rutgers, which for all intents and purposes is a cupcake as well.
Definitely.
So it doesn't, to me, this is, in a sense, I know it's a big deal to Harbaugh, but it's a non-story because it's not going to impact the win-loss record.
It definitely is not, but I just think I think they're doing this because he's going to serve the 3-game suspension. They're hoping that's going to satisfy the NCAA. And then Harbaugh's gone next year. So if the NCAA actually does turn around and try to be sticklers on this or really try to go after him for that extra game, he's going to already have been pieced out to the NFL. I very much believe that.
He doesn't seem like the NFL wants him because he's doing these interviews and not getting the jobs. He's going to have a great year at Michigan, has a great chance to make the Final Four. Then they're going to 12 games. I'm not sure that he's going to look at this and say, you know what, maybe this is the best situation. If they have a great year, maybe that helps him stay even longer.
Okay, but aren't you a little surprised Harbaugh stayed at Michigan even this long?
No, because I was shocked that he was interviewing this offseason because everything's set up for this year. I mean, everything is finally he's going to get a chance to win a title. Never won a Super Bowl. Has beaten Ohio State twice. The next thing is a title, and this is the year.
That would be great for Michigan fans if this is the year. I'm sure everyone listening to us in Ohio probably wants to shout obscenities at me, but so that's also could be him leaving on the high note. I think he starts to change his tune in some of these NFL interviews. I don't know what he's saying.
Yeah.
If he's saying I want to be able to, the old Parcells line, I want to buy the groceries and I want to be able to make the meal. Maybe he starts changing his tune a little bit to get back to the pros.
I mean, if you look at you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
But that being said, there's a lot of reasons for him to want to stay because he's built this juggernaut there, and it is Michigan. It's not like it's a great place to be. If you look at the rankings, he's basically the only one with a quarterback in the top, a returning quarterback.
Well, Ohio State still doesn't name their starter.
Williams. Yeah, Ohio State doesn't name their starter. Probably be Kyle McCord. Georgia just named a new starter. Alabama doesn't have a quarterback. That's the top 4 right there. So he's got Blake Corum, the running back, coming back. It just seems like it's all setting up the easiest schedule known to man, even with this suspension. Now, just to clarify, do you think this suspension is going to make him want to go to the NFL more because he's tired of dealing with this?
Well, because it was about lying about kind of smallish things.
Yeah.
This wasn't big stuff. And, we've seen some major college football scandals, right? We've seen some really heinous things go down at times in college football programs. This is not it. JB is in the chat, says Michigan wants to make sure that suspension gets served this year with that horrible non-conference schedule. Yeah. Absolutely right. And that's smart. Jeffrey House says 1 year in the Big Ten booth. Jim Harbaugh as a broadcaster would be the last place we could find this guy.
I think he'd be good.
Oh, I don't.
He'd be so good.
He's so awkward.
But then again, listen, Saban kind of wants to go into TV too.
I know, but Saban has done a little TV, and he turns it up, and he turns on the charm. Jim Harbaugh is not capable of that.
Jim Harbaugh was one of my favorite Dan Patrick Show interviews because if you ask him the right questions, and Dan has a great way of doing this, even though Dan's an Ohio guy, then he can be very engaging. He really can. I mean, he's a college football coach.
Of course, he's got some charisma. He can go into a living room and sell a mom and dad on why their son should go play for his program. But like their TV, if you're awkward already, TV only makes you more awkward.
Yeah, but his brother did it. John Harbaugh wouldn't seem like he was good. He was pretty good. He did a
little bit at the Super Bowl,
NBC, and I think he could. I would love to see it.
But
too.
John Harbaugh is like Miss Congeniality compared to Jim.
Sandra Bullock playing John Harbaugh.
He's incredible. He's, like the class president compared in terms of, personality.
That note's really interesting, too. I'm curious, next year, obviously, when do they get USC? So Michigan, he's looking at this schedule and be like, I'm going to stay this year, leave on a high note. Looking at who they have next year, I see a little Texas on here. Could be Arch Manning. But I don't see USC and they're at USC next year. It'd be a good time to get out with this schedule.
Oh, you think so? Okay. So I was a little surprised when this one came across the social media this morning. I was not watching First Take. And it's funny because I follow a lot of Buffalo Bills people, a lot on social media, and nobody really picked this up. But Stephen A. Smith sounds pretty confident when he said this.
Brother wants out. He don't want to be in Buffalo anymore. He don't want to. I'm telling you right now. I have my sources. Stephon Diggs got to be there, but he would prefer to be gone because he's lost a level of belief in the Buffalo Bills. That's right. I said it's Stephen A. baby. But he's not going to force his way out. He know he got to be there and they got to perform. But he ain't feeling the Buffalo Bills the way that he once did because he feels there's a window of opportunity that they may have missed out on.
Wait, everybody's been kind of saying that. I mean, Diggs didn't show up, left camp.
Yes. So you'll see if you're watching youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio, behind Perloff, there is a whiteboard that says the days since Maggie had a Bills meltdown. And it's 0, right? We're starting today, where I'm going to try to be more positive about the team.
I got the marker ready to go to change that.
Put the marker away. First of all, this all might be true. But the bottom line is he's showing up now. If he wants to be out of Buffalo at a future date, most people who are in Buffalo want to be out of Buffalo at a future date. It's tough to live there at times. It's great to live there, but it's tough to live there at times, right? And I imagine that, Diggs is upset because he thought they were, restructuring his contract to go out and get DeAndre Hopkins, and they didn't do it, or whatever he thought was going on behind the scenes. Why I'm not having a meltdown is because he's there. As long as he's showing up, I do not care if he actually wants to be there or not. I don't think that will impact how he plays. Yeah. I don't think it's going to make him try less hard. I think that Stephon Diggs is enough of a pro and he's getting paid enough that he will show up and do his job, whether he actually wants to be in Buffalo or doesn't. I could care less if he wants to be in Buffalo. He plays for the Bills. If he tries hard and the hardest he can, I don't care if he, has fallen out of love with the team. I just don't care.
Yeah, I mean, he did this whole playbook with the Vikings, malcontenting his way out of Minnesota, which was a great situation. Just as good as, listen, he could have led the league in receiving with Kirk Cousins, but he didn't want to be there, and he still played well. So you're right, his professionalism. Now, first of all, though, I thought the meltdown was going to be Matt Barkley throwing 3 interceptions.
I'm not happy about that.
12 passes. Because that's amazing. Happy. The Bills' backup situation, we'll save that for tomorrow, Mike, just so we don't get this past 0 as far as meltdown.
Yeah.
Because, it's pretty fun.
Our guy, Case Keenum.
Gone. Kyle Allen's probably not looking good either.
Could have been there.
But I agree with you. Stephon Diggs, even if he's a malcontent, that might actually make him play better in a way because he wants to improve his situation and get paid down the road. So he's not going to – it's like a free agent year. He's going to be great.
Listen, this is when you are from a place that is cold and dark, friendly and awesome, but cold and dark, you understand it's not for everybody, right? Or you understand not everyone's going to love playing there. I don't care. As long as you play well, Marshawn Lynch was awesome for the Bills, played on a broken leg, didn't want to be in Buffalo. I don't care. As long as you play hard. I don't care if you like the team or like the city. There you go. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. All right, coming up, the one thing no one's talking about when it comes to the 49ers quarterback situation next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. 15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Taking less is going to happen within 2 weeks. We'll know who's right about this. I think Joe Burrow is going to take
Joe
a pay cut.
Bet?
Yeah,
driving to Cincinnati?
I don't want to drive to Cincinnati on this one. I think we need something a little higher stakes than this.
What a bad bandwagon fan you are. Don't even want to drive to Cincinnati to see your beloved Reds.
All the driving bets are always one way because you don't like driving long. You don't even like driving an hour and a half somewhere.
I don't even like commuting into the office, but I do it for you guys.
Yeah, I'm like,
I don't want to be home.
You're like, Perloff, why don't you drive to El Paso? And I'm like, you just complained because you had to go from North Jersey to another part of North Jersey.
I do not like to be in the car.
They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Welcome to the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. We are back from vacation, and we are here now. We are here until the bitter end.
We're here for now until you make me go on some driving bet.
Listen, I'm not making you do anything. You're willingly signing up.
Whatever. You just trap me in the break, and I do not like. I don't like it at all, Maggie. What you're trying to do here.
So I just hit this with Perloff in the break. So the college football preseason All-American teams were announced today, just like an hour ago.
Yeah.
First team quarterback Caleb Williams, USC, obviously the reigning Heisman Trophy winner, makes a lot of sense. Second team is Drake May, the sophomore quarterback from North Carolina. Call it now. Those will be the top 2 picks in the NFL draft next year.
I will call it. I believe those will be 2 of the top 3 picks in the NFL draft.
No, you said yes immediately. You're like,
my
of
answer
course.
is yes.
I'm like, oh, I'll take that
obviously,
bet.
Caleb will be 1. Drake May looks like he's good enough to be the number 2 quarterback, although I think there are a couple quarterbacks who could sneak in there ahead of him. Possible.
Go with your first instinct. You said yes. You're like, oh, yeah, I'll take that bet. And I'll take everyone else. I'll take the entire field.
I'll take that bet. Although that doesn't mean I can't love some other quarterbacks.
You can love whoever you want to love.
I mean, Anthony Richardson just went number 4 overall in the NFL draft. So a guy like Joe Milton at Tennessee could shock everybody. Or that's the thing.
Think about all the quarterbacks in college football this year. This is like quarterback craziness because the transfer portal and everything. It's like quarterbacks wall to wall in college this year.
Well, here's the thing. Last year, you would have said the same exact thing, but you would have said, Perloff, will you bet that Bryce Young goes 1 and C.J. Stroud goes 2?
No, Will Anderson was at some points. People thought he could have gone 1.
No, yes, I hear what you're saying, but it was supposed to be a great quarterback draft. But I think Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud were 1 and 2 on most people's lists. I know Levis was in the mix, but I don't know who's going to break in. I'll take that bet. I'll do that bet. Where am I driving to? North Carolina?
I'm not sure yet. So
Chapel Hill to see Drake May?
Something like that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about that. I do think that it's going to be an excellent quarterback draft, but I feel very safe saying quarterbacks will go 1-2 in any draft. That is more the rule than the exception.
We got a long way to go here. To pencil these, listen, congratulations to these 2 guys. They're great. We love watching them. All that. Caleb Williams came on the show. We're obviously fans. But we got a lot of ball game left, as they say.
Maybe for Drake May, we have a lot of ball game left. There's no ball game left on Caleb Williams. He's going number 1, Maggie.
I know. There are going to be multiple NFL teams openly tanking for Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
I get that. Just like Trevor Lawrence.
You're right. There certainly are no sure things. He feels really safe. Drake May, I'm not sure I would bet a long-distance drive on.
Oh,
Maybe,
you just did.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I will. Oh, this one hurts. You're mean.
I'm not mean. I'm just asking the questions.
Yeah.
I didn't make you say yes.
Could you give me? You won't even say 1 and 3, like?
No, not 1 and 3.
Because you know what team has a bunch of number 3 picks playing quarterback?
Who?
San Francisco 49ers.
Oh, yeah. That's a great segue. You are the professional here, not me. Let's get to it.
NFL preseason debates countdown. 17 days.
Yes, it's true. 17 days till the beginning of the NFL season. So Perloff and I, starting today and every day henceforth, we will count down the greatest debates of the NFL season. Well, the preseason debates, like heading into the season.
Yes.
I don't think I need to explain this.
Yeah, 17 days. That's 2 touchdowns and a field goal. Number 17, my favorite Philadelphia Eagle, Harold Carmichael. Not really, but I do remember that's his number. Yeah, 17 feels good. Like, we should really start diving, breaking it down. And what are we starting with today?
Okay, so today, number 17 on the list of the great preseason debates is the 49ers quarterback situation. Inspired or doomed? I'm going to say doomed on this one.
What?
And here's why. It's not that Brock Purdy can't have another good season. That's not it. I don't believe in this approach, if you will. I don't think this is the winning formula here for the San Francisco 49ers. This is very, to borrow from you, really against the grain here. 3 quarterbacks means you don't have one, and that's exactly what's going on. Now, Purdy looked good in preseason, coming back from that severe elbow injury, Perloff, but he's still coming back from a very significant injury. Trey Lance has done nothing to come up and grab the job. I've seen enough from Sam Darnold. I don't need to see any more. So for me, this feels like it's doomed.
Well, this is a team that has always had a good enough defense. Now, in recent years, had a good enough defense to succeed with or without a quarterback. You know, they've almost won a championship without great quarterback play. I don't think Jimmy G was great that year that they came close to the Chiefs. So now they have to guard against injuries. That's a big deal here. Last year, I thought they had a great chance in the link against the Philadelphia Eagles, but Purdy got hurt, and then Josh Johnson came in. It was a disaster.
And he got hurt.
Trey Lance looked really, really good. I know there's a story out there where ESPN SportsCenter said another bad day for Trey Lance. He was great. He was 12 for 18 with a touchdown and a pick. It's not just that. He looks much more like a veteran quarterback now, making a lot of the right reads, being more patient back there. And you know he can run. Sam Darnold, you said you've seen enough of Sam Darnold. You've never seen him with Kyle Shanahan. So I think he deserves a chance. But the key to me is Brock Purdy being healthy. They got to the NFC title game with Mr. Irrelevant, Maggie. So they obviously know how to win without great quarterback play. So why not just guarantee you have good quarterback play with 3 guys? I think they tripped into this. I don't think they did this intentionally. I think they tripped into a very good quarterback situation.
No, they definitely didn't plan on it, or else you wouldn't have given up all those draft picks on Trey Lance, who's going to be a backup. But Dan in Vegas is in the chat, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio. If you want to watch the show, Shanahan's system doesn't need a quarterback. Okay, fair. Shanahan's system also hasn't won a Super Bowl. So they've gone to a Super Bowl.
They've led at halftime of Super Bowls.
They were leading within the fourth quarter until Mahomes it. And Jimmy G overthrew Emmanuel Sanders. But they haven't actually won yet. So you can say, yes, they're very good. By the way, Nick Bosa hasn't signed his contract yet, but I'm sure that will get worked out. But you can say it's very good and it doesn't need this great quarterback. But meanwhile, it hasn't produced. It's not like we're talking about the dynasty of the San Francisco 49ers. Like, stop me. I forgot where they were hoisting the Lombardi trophy. Like, that hasn't happened since the 90s.
Well, yeah, but they've been... Okay, they're
relevant.
3 of the last 4 NFC title games.
I know they've been good, but
they've been very good. And the problem is, one of the reasons is they haven't had depth at quarterback. I mean, listen, they need a bunch of guys because everything around them. Think of what you have around this quarterback. You have Christian McCaffrey, a running back.
Yeah.
You have Deebo Samuel doing everything. You have Brandon Ayuk's great. George Kittle is great. Then your defense, assuming Nick Bosa is okay and they sign him and everything, you just added Javon Hargrave, who's a star.
No, I get
in the middle of the defensive line. So I think you could not afford to have this whole Super Bowl team in just one quarterback. And I think Lance is not polished yet, but he can run, which will really complement this style of team. I think it's a good situation.
Think about where else, and again, this is actually a credit to Shanahan and John Lynch, I guess, but who else gets 7 years? I know they've had some success, but again, haven't ultimately won it, but you get 7 years together, you've never had a quarterback answer? Like, you've never solved that position.
Wait, how can you say a team that has gone to the Super Bowl and made 3 out of the last 4 NFC title games has never had any success at quarterback?
They have. Well, but okay. So, what's the most important position in the NFL?
Quarterback.
Right. If they had solved the quarterback situation, we might actually be talking about a dynasty.
Well, okay.
And instead, they haven't, and they still haven't, and they have not today.
This is just I'm using this team to play devil's advocate, but obviously the Bills have solved the quarterback problem. And how many times have they been to the Super Bowl?
No, tougher conference, first of all.
Oh, get out of here.
Definitely tougher.
Conference.
Tougher road.
Tougher road for the Bills?
Definitely. You're telling me playing Mahomes, Joe Burrow, having to play against
The
Belichick?
Bills wouldn't. Okay, the Bills would not have come out of the NFC the last several years either. I mean, that 1 year with the 13-second play, maybe. But I don't think that generally, though. I mean, let's see. The NFC won the Super Bowl in 2020. They won the Super Bowl in 2021. They almost won it this year. It would have been.
I know you love saying the almost won.
Well, I'm just saying, like, it hasn't been like the AFC has not fared that well. I mean, since it's basically been the NFC's won 2 of the last 3 Super Bowls. It's not that lopsided at all. This year it will be, but generally that's not an excuse.
Okay, but that's one game at the end of the year. I'm talking about the harder road to get there. I don't, I mean, listen, you don't get to play the Cardinals.
Yeah, but you would have had to go through Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers and all sorts of hard challenges in the NFC.
I don't know. I mean, this is the thing. I do think, you have the outliers of the Trent Dilferds and the Brad Johnsons, and that might be. But more often than not, it actually has been the higher tier, upper echelon quarterbacks that have been the difference. And right now, the 49ers have everything but. It's like, it might end up working. And by the way, getting credit for Brock Purdy working, like, yes, you can, but like, you were trading up multiple picks to get Trey Lance. You got pretty lucky. There's a reason you call it Mr. Irrelevant. Like, good for Brock Purdy. He had a lot of experience in college. He stepped into a great situation, took advantage of it. So not begrudging him. But that's like, you got lucky there.
Well, so did the Patriots get lucky with Tom Brady?
Totally. Absolutely, they got lucky with Brady.
So you discounting saying the whole run was luck?
I think them getting Brady was definitely luck.
Well, listen, they drafted him.
It's luck.
He was available, and they said, you know what? No one else wants him. We'll take. I don't know if that's luck. So you're telling me the only time the teams are not lucky is if they get somebody in the top 10 picks?
No, it's not. It has to be in the top 10, but it doesn't feel like the plan. Like even you said, it's like there's not a plan for the most important position on the team.
Right, but just like Brady, it might work out great.
Yeah, but they also had, remember, it was like they had Drew Bledsoe. So they had like the plan, and Brady was the 1 out of a million backup.
Wow. Or he's not even as 1 out of a million as Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy was around below Brady, and he was really good last year. So, yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yes, the plan did not work, their original plan. But I don't think if you look through NFL history, great plans mean anything. It's really what you do once you get the guys in the building.
Do you think the 49ers are winning the Super Bowl this year?
Ooh, I think they have a great chance. A great chance.
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. I think until they figure out the quarterback thing for real, then they're not.
Well, I think they could get out of the NFC, and then in the Super Bowl, they're going to be a challenge match for the AFC. The AFC team is not – whoever gets through the AFC is not going to see anybody like the Niners if the Niners get out of the NFC.
Right.
So, I mean, like you said, it's one game. I think it'll be a crapshoot. Yeah, so I think they have – a pretty good chance. I think they're top 5 in odds for sure, and they are. I mean, even you agree with that. They're definitely in the top 5 teams with a chance to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but I would say they're also hitting the NFC at the right time.
Right.
Which is the Eagles, as far as we know right now on paper, basically the Eagles and the Cowboys are your 2 biggest foes.
Yeah, but they might. Their style of play would cause a lot of problems in the AFC as well. I think they would run all over the Chiefs. And I think, they're basically a run defense team, and there's not a lot of that in the AFC, so maybe they are zagging while everyone else is zigging. Or how's the expression go?
Yeah, no, you got it right.
No, or is everyone zigging?
Yeah, everyone's zagging.
I think you say the zig first, right?
Yeah.
No, everyone's zigging and they're zagging.
Yeah, I think you can zag if everyone else is zigging, too. I think it all works.
Yeah.
I think when you say it, though, you want to go with the zig first, because that sounded weird.
No, see, you're zigging and zagging on the zigging and zagging.
Yeah, if you want to zig when people zag, then you zag when they zig.
This whole thing started when you trapped me into a Drake May bet, and now you have me on my... Why am I on my heels defending the San Francisco 49ers? They've been incredibly successful.
Because they haven't addressed... Yes, they have been incredibly successful, but they probably would be the dynasty of our time if they actually addressed the quarterback situation.
First of all, they wouldn't have Nick Bosa and Christian McCaffrey and all these guys if they were paying a quarterback. So it'd be a much different team to start with. And did you see Brock Purdy?
Have you seen running backs? Like, I love Christian McCaffrey. That's fine. But, like,
he's a receiver.
I know. He's a receiver. Okay. And Debo Samuel's a receiver / running back. Yeah. They're just, like, getting football players in
And
there.
Also, by the way, Nick Bosa is the MVP of that team by tenfold, and Fred Warner's right behind him.
Probably
the 2 of them are insane. So you have 2 of the top 5 defensive players in the league. So it's all exciting. And Purdy looked great.
Yeah, he did
I
look
couldn't
good.
believe it.
I know,
We saw Brock Purdy at Super Bowl. He's describing his arm injury. It sounded like he was going to miss 2 years, and now he's out there completing every pass.
I know, but it's the one hit away thing, and they couldn't protect him against the Eagles, and I'm concerned about that a bit. And if you're just tuning in, Perloff.
Good thing they have 3 guys.
The new bet, which we don't have the stakes yet, is the preseason All-American teams came out in college football today. And for quarterbacks, it's Caleb Williams' first team and Drake May second team. And I bet Perloff, will those 2 guys go 1 and 2 in the 2024 NFL draft? And Perloff said yes, and I get the field.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about this. I got to be honest, Drake May is the one wild card out of these 2 guys. It's not a deep statement. Drake May looks like he could be a top 5 pick for sure, but I don't feel nearly as comfortable as my guy, Caleb Williams.
How about we throw a little wrench in it, add a little fun?
Zag?
You have to drive. Yes, let's zag.
Let's zag. Well,
drive to wherever Drake May gets drafted to. So if he gets drafted to Oakland or Vegas, you drive to Vegas. If he gets drafted by the Giants, you go to the Meadowlands.
Yeah.
So, what kind of bothers me is...
I like that.
Arizona's
a wild card.
If Arizona tanks for the number 1 pick, what if the number 2 team does not need a quarterback? Say the Colts are the number 2 team. Very possible.
Yeah.
They're not going to take a quarterback, so then I'm screwed.
They might trade down, though, to a team that needs a quarterback.
Thank you, Stu.
See, Stu's in the war room.
So he's
doing the work. He's working the draft.
You riding shotgun, baby?
I don't know about that. Might be Vegas, so that's a far drive.
Stu, play your cards right. Maybe Drake May will somehow get to the Raiders.
I'll take it at this point. Can't get any worse.
Oh, Jimmy G looked okay.
He really didn't look that great, by the way.
Yeah, it's. I'm trying for you. I'm trying.
You tried so hard, Maggie.
I know.
And Perloff just jumped right in.
4-4 didn't get hurt. That's probably a successful start for Jimmy
It was
G.
so Jimmy G, too, because there was like a wide open guy, like 13 yards down the field. And of course, he didn't put it on the numbers. The guy had to like reach down and get it.
I know.
It's right back to San Francisco, where every throw is 20% off, but still gets caught. He's a weird guy, but I'm excited. And Aiden O'Connell, Stu's new guy. Rookie, 4th round pick.
Stu's just
He's
dying
coming.
for anybody. Just please don't let this be another season from hell. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. All right, let us know what you think. The 49ers quarterback situation, 49er gold mine in the chat says Maggie's being a hater. Gave it an LOL. I get it. 855-212-4CBS. Coming up, the craziest story in sports just got a little more clarity. We'll give you that in a moment. Don't move. Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Minutes remaining. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. Minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
So I'm off in Europe enjoying my vacation, Maggie.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden this video comes through.
I thought you were going to say that you actually were eating dessert, which I'm shocked
Yeah. Oh, my God. I ate all this German chocolate and everything. It was crazy.
For people to know, Perloff is so anti-dessert.
Anti-sugar.
You're so steadfast with it, too. Like, I'm always in awe of your willpower against sugar.
Every night for 12 days. But weren't you the same way on vacation?
Yeah, I'm like having ice cream withdrawal.
Yeah. Yeah, vacation, I mean, everyone else was drinking themselves into a stupor, but I was eating sugar into a stupor. Same difference, really.
Yeah, basically everyone's hungover the next day.
And speaking of that topic, I get this video of my friend, Philadelphia 76ers star James Harden, talking to a bunch of campers saying that 76ers GM Daryl Morey is a liar and he'll never play with the Sixers again.
Yeah, let me repeat. Oh, we've got the audio.
Yes, let's hear the audio.
Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of. Let me say that again. Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of again.
Let me say it again is the most hilarious part of this whole thing.
So, well, to me, the most hilarious thing. I'm like, dude, you're a pro athlete getting paid $38 million. You have not been to the gym since the last game of the season. He's wearing like a muumuu. It's the most weirdest outfit. Like, I don't know what is going on. Like, you're not in shape and you're complaining about the contract of a team that just lost. I mean, I know a lot more is developed, but I'll tell you right now, I'm coming into this anti-James Harden.
You think? I mean,
there are some apologists who say it's all on the 76ers, Daryl Morey. There are a lot of people who believe, Harden, that GM Daryl Morey is a liar.
No, I mean, here's the thing, right? You have to, Harden is now lost any benefit of the doubt. When you've requested 3 trades since 2020, it's not everyone else, James. It's you. It's you now. You can't claim, well, this situation was bad and this situation was bad. So the latest is from Shams Charania is that the NBA is investigating this Daryl Morey is a liar comment because they thought it was something about circumventing the salary cap. I won't bore you with the details. But as it comes out today from Shams, it was that Harden was apparently promised by Morey that he would be traded quickly to the Clippers, which is where he wants to go. Well, again, newsflash to James Harden, who's been in this league long enough to understand it. When you publicly come out and say, I only want to be traded to one team, that makes it much harder to trade your butt away from your current team to that team because your current team has no leverage. The other reason why he should have known that this was going to happen is because he just saw the same guy, Daryl Morey, hold on to Ben Simmons in a very awkward situation and didn't care it was awkward. And held on to Simmons until he could actually get a trade, ironically, for James Harden. Now, can I just tell you what's going to happen here? Because you touched on it with the moo-moo.
What?
Harden's going to show up.
Yep.
He's always shown up. He showed up to Houston when he wanted to trade out of there. He showed up to Brooklyn when he wanted to trade out of there. And you want to know what he did? He openly didn't try. He showed up fat and out of shape to Houston and quit on the court. He quit on the court in Brooklyn. He's going to do that with the 76ers. He's going to show up. He's going to be out of shape. He's going to literally quit on the court, like throw the ball out of bounds when Joel Embiid is standing right there with an easy basket. And that's going to be super disruptive.
And as compared to, did you watch the end of the Celtics series? Nothing's changing here.
No,
who cares?
Listen, honestly, that's fine. But you have an MVP who's in his prime and Embiid. Like, this is no longer about Harden. This is about salvaging this for Joel Embiid. And if you think Philly and the 76ers are ever going to win a title with Embiid, like, you can't afford to waste this time with Harden's nonsense.
Well, first of all, I will always credit Harden with one thing. He got Ben Simmons off the team, which was an even bigger problem.
And then he turned into Ben Simmons.
It doesn't matter. No, Harden's always been this. He's always quit on his team. He's always come up small in Game 7s.
Yeah.
He's an incredibly talented player, but he just doesn't fit on a team. When I play pickup basketball and I see a guy like Harden on the other team, I'm like, oh, I hope I don't have to cover him because he can score at any time. But you're never going to win with that guy. He's way too high usage. He doesn't really know how to play team ball. Okay. He thinks he does because he has a lot of assists, but the ball just does not move when James Harden's there. You heard what Doc Rivers said? When you're playing against James Harden, you know exactly where the ball is going to be all the time.
Absolutely. And but it's still your problem. Because Ben Simmons, let's not forget, back then, you could squint and you could see a guy who was like 24.
I didn't.
Okay, well, not you.
No, you could not. People in the national media could squint and see that. Nobody who watched Sixers games every night saw that.
Okay, but there was like an idea that he could be fixed or he could be salvaged because he was so young and perhaps there was still a coach or teammates who could get through to him and at least you'd be getting the great defense or whatever. With Harden, he's 34, 35. He's at the end. You're not duping anybody into giving you a big return for James Harden.
No, of course. I totally agree with that.
So he's still your problem.
Kind of, except that I just think that now that we're not going to lose draft picks, the Sixers are not going to lose draft picks over making some promise about a contract. I feel much better. Yes, this is going to be ugly, but guess what? Trading him for a second-round pick wasn't going to do anything anyway. I think it would be... I think even a non-engaged James Harden, as long as he's not in there, like, creating a poisonous atmosphere every day.
That's what he does, though.
I think he's just more absent. I think, maybe...
He's, like, blowing it on the court. That's, unforgivable.
But it was a much different situation. I don't think he's going to come into the season and just throw the ball out of bounds. If he does, just bench him. Who cares?
Okay, but then that's a roster spot and somebody who you're expecting to carry some minutes.
Well, you can't. You shouldn't.
He had a high usage rate last year.
I know.
He played all the time.
They should not be playing him all the time. And if they bring him back this year, they're just wasting their time.
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Okay, but then you're asking Daryl Morey to trade him for 30 cents on the dollar.
Yes.
Okay.
10 cents on the dollar. Fine. Get him out of there.
For a bag of balls.
Yes.
An extra set of moo-moos.
Yeah, honestly, I don't want him on the court at all. I never want him to touch a basketball for the 76ers again. He's not going to win anything. What's the difference? If he's there again, they're going out in the second round.
Well, they might be anyway. 855-212-4CBS. They might go out in the first round if they don't get anything back for him.
I kind of like him getting Tyrese Maxey, giving him more room to operate. That might be interesting.
Let's go to the phone, shall we? Again, 855-212-4CBS. Steve is in Oregon. He's got a thought on James Harden. Hi, Steve. Good afternoon.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my phone call.
You got it.
You know what? This James Harden, he is a piece of work, and he is just irritating me to no end. You know, the 76ers, what they should do is they should just keep him on the team, and if he's going to act out the way he's acting and not try and just be completely disruptive, do not give him what he wants. Just bench him.
Right.
Keep him on the team and bench him. It's as simple as that. This guy's gotten way too many chances. Yes, he is a great basketball player, but that's only when he puts his mind to it and wants to do what he wants to do. But if he's just going to act like a child and not do what he wants to do when he's supposed to, bench him. It's as simple as that. Thanks for taking my phone call, guys.
You got it, Steven. Thank you. And I agree, and Perloff clearly wants that. But the problem is you only have a certain amount of roster spots, and you are trying to win a title. And so it's like, yeah, bench him, and you can say that, but as for Daryl Morey, that's probably the last resort. He needs bodies. He needs people who can play with Embiid.
I think, though, a guy like that, though, takes away so much from the other guys around him. So if Harden, especially if he's not in shape, why not just go with Anthony Melton and Tyrese Maxey in the backcourt, and they can do all the Harden things, and then just a rotation of other guys?
Well, I think that Daryl Morey definitely believes that you need more than one superstar to win a title. And Tyrese Maxey isn't that yet.
I think Maxey could be, scored over 20 points a game. I think he could be. I think you could get a lot more out of some of the other guys. Tobias Harris, you're paying like a superstar. So I think everybody gets better if Harden's gone. Now, there are a lot of people who disagree with me on that. They think that Harden helped Embiid get an MVP, and I understand that argument, but he didn't help him win any deeper into the playoffs.
Let's also not forget about James Harden. Like, he wanted to go to LA so bad, he opted into the contract. He could have just opted out, and he would have been a free agent, and he could have signed wherever he wanted to. But he wanted the $35 million. So he wanted his cake and eat it too. You want the $35 million, and you want to trade to Los Angeles. Which, wouldn't we all?
Yeah, I get this cake and eat it too. I think we're being a little mean to James Harden. No, we're not being mean.
That was for you. You've been eating desserts now. Although you didn't gain an ounce.
No,
you.
I know. James Harden has. It just bothers me.
That's not cake weight.
James Harden.
That's something else.
This is, you know what? I haven't really thought this out, but it does bother me that he's made so much money in his career. Like, why isn't he doing $1 million into his body like LeBron James? Why is it every?
Have you met? I haven't met. James
Actually, he puts $1 million into other bodies.
Women's G-strings.
But he should really. It doesn't feel to me like he's dedicated to the game like LeBron James. I know. Obviously,
what gave you that clue when he's quitting on the court on multiple occasions? No kidding, he's not LeBron James. Thank you, Perloff. Yes. LeBron would be insulted just by the fact that we even mentioned him.
I don't know. All right, don't be LeBron James. Be at least somebody else who's a lower level. Be DeMar DeRozan. I don't know. Be somebody who tries.
Chris is in Texas, wants to talk about Harden. Hi, Chris.
Hey. Good to hear you back, Maggie.
Oh, thanks, Chris. Glad to talk to you.
Perloff, well.
Understood.
I know. He's an Eagles fan. You're a Cowboys fan. The two will mix.
That's very true. Mm-hmm. But as far as Harden, I'd just keep him in Philadelphia. Don't send him to San Antonio or Dallas or Houston. We don't want him in Texas.
All of Texas?
Yeah, all of Texas. Keep him up there.
Chris, thank you. Yes.
LA would be all right because if he ruins the Lakers, that could be good.
Yeah, the Lakers don't even want him. Chris, thank you for the call. Good to hear from you. Houston said no. Harden himself was trying to leak over and over again that the Houston Rockets were going to welcome him back with open arms if the 76ers didn't give him a new contract. And then what happened? Houston said no, thank you.
It never made sense because they're a young building team. Do you really want James Harden as your mentor figure?
No, no, I don't. We're talking about moo-moos and strip clubs and no, and high usage and just dribble. No.
You know, it's funny. We would probably both like James Harden if we were in a room and hanging out with him. He seems like a very personable guy.
Oh, everyone loves him as a teammate. You want to know why? I think he's really social with everyone. Takes everyone out for dinners and stuff like that.
And he's fun, right? But why is it that he has this bee in his bonnet about certain things? Like, he just has this mental block.
about his worth. I mean, listen, the guy is going to go down as he's a top 75 player of all time. He probably thinks he's worth a lot.
It's not just his worth, though. It's his dedication to winning. Like the fact that, you know, whatever it is, he's never gotten over the hump. He's going to be one of those great players who never won a title.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. He's never stepped back and said, what is my role in this? Like, why do I keep getting to Game 7s in Houston, never getting over that hump?
Think of how many other superstars he's played with.
Well,
Chris
Embiid.
Paul, Russell Westbrook, Embiid, Kevin Durant.
Yeah, but that was early. He didn't play that long.
No, in Brooklyn.
Oh, that didn't count. That was a disaster.
It just happened. It didn't count.
Right.
I watched it.
Well, that doesn't really count, though. I mean, you're saying guys in their primes. Like,
Chris Paul was still in his prime.
Yeah, so I think he
Dwight
needs to look.
Howard. I'm like forgetting guys that he played with so many.
I don't want to hear the GM's a liar. I want to hear, listen, I haven't gotten there yet, but I'm obsessed with winning an NBA title, and I'm going to do anything I can to do that.
Yeah, I mean, you're asking for someone to totally change what they've appeared to be to the public for 10 years.
Yep. In other words, I'm not going to get it, am
Gonna
I?
keep dreaming, huh?
I mean, don't just out of pride. Don't you just say it, even if you don't mean it, because you hear all the people talking, junking about you. Don't you just like, all right, I'm just gonna say it, pretend like I actually care. Like, how do you like?
I mean,
lean
he'll tell you, like, listen, I single-handedly won 2 playoff games for the 76ers this year. It's like,
he
well,
leans
and you
into the
lost
fact that he doesn't care so much. It's like, you say I don't care, let me show you how much I don't care.
Also, like, what was the point of saying it while you're in China? He's on a trip to China. He's doing like basketball camps. There's all these videos of him on the internet doing like little motorcycle races with like a helmet on, and
because he's away from the Philly media, he doesn't have to deal with them.
He said, "Let me repeat myself," like for the cheap seats in the back.
Yeah.
Daryl Morey's a liar.
And all the kids are like, who? What?
I know.
Well, actually, they probably know Daryl Morey because of the Rockets.
The Rockets and also the tweet.
Yes. Oh, right.
The free
tweet.
Taiwan tweet.
Right,
so
right.
He probably is a little infamous.
Yeah, they
say
probably.
it again.
You know what? That's probably why he said it. He knew he had a sympathetic crowd.
Yeah, people don't like Morey. I guess it just seems like it's almost like his most brilliant and his most ridiculous thing he's done. Like, he's literally quit on the court 2 different times, and this is the most insane thing. He's done so much in terms of ridiculous behavior.
Yeah, is this the most insane?
I mean, quitting on the court should be your, like, that should be your coup de grace. Like, that should be your shining accomplishment of awfulness. And it's not. You got to work that hard.
The signature moment for me, for James Harden, and this has all been very mean, and I'm sorry, it was during the pandemic. I got all these Instagram videos of him working out, like pulling chains, and he looked ripped, and everyone's all psyched. Then the next video comes of him checking into the hotel in Orlando. That was not a rip. And he looked, it must have been 25 pounds overweight. I'm like, dude, whoever the cameraman was on your work, it's a genius.
Get a raise.
Yeah. So he showed up.
High angle.
He showed up at the bubble, and whatever workouts he was doing in April just did not last. But no, I actually kind of like him despite myself, but I do not want him in the Sixers uniform anymore.
Oh, my gosh. Like him. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. I can't imagine. Like, this guy finds such inventive ways to quit. It's like, what could he do next? I hope he holds the next press conference or whatever from a strip club. Just stay on brand. You know? You were in China. You were like a high school field in Houston. Where's the next logical step? Like, Krispy Kreme? I don't know.
And it is amazing, by the way. This guy torched the Celtics in one game. They could not stop him. He's still good enough to do that. It's amazing.
Only in games 1 through 4. Once you get into 5, 6, and 7, it's a little bit different story. Okay, coming up, the college football preseason All-American team was announced. The one thing that no one saw coming, we'll tell you that in just a moment. Again, 855-212-4CBS if you want to get in touch with us. Coming up at the top of the hour, Billy Walters, the author of Gambler: Secrets from a Life at Risk, will tell us about his ill-fated partnership with Phil Mickelson. So we get to that at the top of the hour. We do it all after this CBS Sports Update. Here's Rich Ackerman.
CBS Sports Radio. Sports Flag.
Under 3 weeks to the start of the NFL season, the stalemate seems to be close to an end between Josh Jacobs and the Raiders. The franchise running back reportedly will sign his tender before the start of the season. However, exactly when he plans to do so is still uncertain. The league's leading rusher looking for a long-term extension in what has been a tough offseason for running backs. Jim Harbaugh will sit out Michigan's first 3 games for a self-imposed suspension. The disciplinary action comes for violations committed during COVID when Harbaugh had illegal contact with recruits. The Wolverines' schedule opens with East Carolina, UNLV, and Bowling Green. The Seattle Mariners are looking for their second straight playoff appearance after going more than 20 years without one. They're the hottest team in baseball with wins in 6 in a row and 14 of 17, moving them into the final wild card. They'll meet the White Sox in Chicago following a sweep of the defending champion Astros, who will try to bounce back against the Red Sox. The division-leading Rangers host the Diamondbacks. The Cubs, who game up on the D-backs, Reds, and Marlins for the final wild card in the NL, will take on the Tigers in Detroit. I'm Rich Ackerman.
The wait is almost over. College football and the NFL are just around the corner. For the best talk, insight, and entertainment from every gridiron across the nation, just ask your smart speaker to play CBS Sports Radio.
CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff, CBS Sports Radio. It's not a surprise, but it kind of is when you say it. So Georgia had 10 players who were drafted into the NFL last year and still lead the preseason All-American team with 4 selections.
How is that possible?
Think about it. Even the year before, they had like 12 guys taken in the NFL draft, right? Yep. So they just keep sending dudes to the NFL and then reloading. Now, over the weekend, Carson Beck was officially named the starter for Georgia.
Yeah.
It wasn't that much of a surprise, but Perloff, you've got a big prediction for Beck.
Oh, I love him for my Heisman bet. I got to look at the latest odds. I got him at 40-1 a couple months ago. He is basically, Stetson Bennett was short, did not have a big arm, and won 2 national titles.
Right.
Carson Beck is tall. He's a stud. He's a big recruit. I think with these guys with these kind of receivers and this schedule, he could put up big numbers and they're going to be undefeated. So that says Heisman to me. And you know what? Bennett didn't quite have the number. He never put up huge numbers, so he couldn't he got invited anyway. I think Carson Beck has a great chance here, especially because, Caleb Williams, there's going to be some voter fatigue. Drake May has these huge expectations. I feel like there's going to be a lane for a winning quarterback this year. I mean, there are a lot of guys. I'm not saying put all your money on him, but I think guys who are not in the top 5, he's a good one.
Especially if Georgia does three-peat, which it is being set up for them so well because they have an easy schedule. I mean, even by, SEC East standards, and I know they're getting rid of that stuff, but even by those standards, which is talented teams, don't get me wrong, and a lot more challengers now, but still, it's not even in the non-conference, they really have much going on. Yeah. So this is going to, if he kind of has, I wasn't say he has no excuse to win the Heisman, but he's setting up pretty well here.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this All-American team is loaded with stars. Blake Corum coming back from Michigan might have won it. I probably wouldn't, but it would have made a run last year if he wasn't hurt. There's some studs on defense, too. Harold Perkins, LSU. I mean, not that there's going to be a defensive guy, but there's a lot of returning talent this year. Does it feel like more guys are coming back? Maybe it's NIL. Maybe it's the COVID extra year for some guys. Maybe it's the transfer portal. But it feels like, wow, we know a lot of these guys.
I think their name,
Marvin Harrison Jr., for example, feels like he should have been in the pros 3 years ago.
I feel like we've been waiting for him to get to the pros for 2.5 years. Right. Even Jared Verse from Florida State, you've just been hearing, for so much. Even Verse is a senior, so obviously we've been watching him for a while. But maybe it's gotta be the extra COVID year and the transfer portal. Anyway, so we got that going on.
Yeah.
Now, despite the SEC's sort of dominance, only 7 SEC players were represented on the first team The Big Ten had 12 first-team selection. The Pac-12 added 5. Okay. Now, Perloff has been watching the preseason religiously.
Preseason
from Europe.
is the best. It's the best, yes.
You were satelliting it in.
I was in Slovakia, and I'm sort of saying, hey, are you guys showing the game at every bar? And they're like, you mean the Women's World Cup? I'm like, no, I mean the the Panthers game. What are you talking about? Bryce Young.
The Saints-Chargers preseason game.
Yeah, so let's, are we going to put a little music under this by guys to watch?
There you
go. Okay. Now, I'm going to be light on stats for this guy because I put all my energy into trying to get his name right.
Okay.
But the Packers have an edge named Kingsley Enagbare.
Okay.
Who is basically going to terrorize the NFL. He had 2 sacks the other day and a strip sack. And he's a 5th-round pick in 2022 who hasn't really done anything yet. But unlike all the first-round picks, he looks like he's poised to be just a havoc maker for Green Bay. I have a lot of names here and not a lot of time, so I'm going to rip through these guys. I just love his name, too. Kingsley Enagbare. How'd I do?
Great.
Yes. Okay. Now I'm going to obvious. A short backup quarterback. It's my wheelhouse, right?
I know you love him.
You know who's entering the fray now? Jake Haener for the Saints. Jake Haener of Fresno State, our guy, Jim Nagy, Senior Bowl Director, told us about him many, many times. He started off real slow in week 1, had a really solid game for the Saints last week. He was 11 for 17, 118 yards.
And you think Derek Carr is going to, what's going to happen to Carr?
Carr's fine, and they have Winston.
Right, and they have Jameis, who looked slim yesterday.
But Jake Haener has been sort of like, ooh, this guy is going to be, quickly he's going to be a backup-level quarterback. I think they think that they have somebody there. Okay. Now, he's not going to start yet, but I think he's going to be a backup quarterback, and I think he's going to be an FOP, friend of Perloff, at some point down the road. Okay, sticking to the Saints, Kendre Miller, who was the running back on TCU. Remember TCU had a really good running back?
Of course.
They got him in the 3rd round. This is what the Saints do. They got Kamara in the 3rd round. I looked up, they got a guy named Reuben Mays who won Rookie of the Year in the 3rd round. Kendre Miller is this year's 3rd round pick. So Kamara's out the first 3 games. Miller was running all those wheel routes Kamara runs and just killing it as a receiver. Saints, running back who can catch the ball. Maggie, this is our thing. This is a great spot. So he's going to get in there immediately. You know, this is a fantasy football thing. 3rd round running back, they're the best.
What about Jamal Williams?
Well, he's going to play too, but this Kendre Miller's more of a 3rd down back. So he's going to do a little Kamara-ish stuff.
Okay.
Jamal Williams, more a heavy load guy. Rashee Rice, SMU, Chiefs. Oh, I love this guy.
Yeah.
8 catches out of 9 targets for 96 yards this weekend. He's one of my favorites. I have to run through the rest of these guys real quick. Stu's guy, Aiden O'Connell, for the Raiders. I can't believe the Raiders might have tripped into a real quarterback, at least a backup quarterback. Did you watch Hoyer? I love Brian Hoyer as a person, but he is not really interested in playing the NFL anymore. So Aiden O'Connell, they might have
he's graduated to just holding the clipboard status.
They might have found a legitimate backup quarterback for this year in Aiden O'Connell out of Purdue, whose numbers are not great. They were really bad last year, but I think there was something going on at Purdue. It's not his fault. Okay, and finally, there's this tight end that I love. You probably had never heard of him. But he was originally with the Ravens, and then he went to the Raiders, and now he's on the Giants. His name is Darren Waller.
Yeah, heard of him.
Yeah, he's awesome. Can I just say that? That's the one star player I want to put in there. Watch some Giants. I mean, Darren Waller is about to absolutely kill it. Now, I know what you're going to say.
Daniel Jones?
No, he always gets hurt.
Yeah.
Can we just have a healthy Darren Waller this year? He could be the first receiving star since Odell Beckham in the Giants. I couldn't believe how good he looked.
Wait, can I give 2 more that maybe are these too obvious to make your list?
Who?
Joey Porter Jr.
Yeah. Oh, I love Joey. And handing the ball to his dad.
Handing the ball to his dad.
First round pick,
in the intercept. Oh, that doesn't count?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't do
Too obvious?
I couldn't do Bijan.
Okay. How about our guy Deuce Vaughn?
Deuce Vaughn is amazing.
Deuce taking it to the house in the preseason game, left everyone in the dust. He's our guy from the draft. He came on the show. He wanted to meet Kay Adams. We facilitated that, made everyone feel awkward.
Deuce is the best. Oh, I figured Deuce was a superstar at this point.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
It was a given.
And then there's a 4th round pick on the Bears. I will not say his name because I know guys in my fantasy league are in this draft, but he was the other running back at Texas who is going to amass yards. That's all I will say.
Perloff being cryptic.
Roshan Johnson. Do not draft him.
Okay, one of the most notorious sports gamblers of all time opens up about his partnership with Phil Mickelson next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
The Altuve buzzer is definitely.
Oh, you guys are nuts if you think he actually had a buzzer under there. He didn't.
What? Wait, Stu, do you believe the buzzer?
I believe the buzzer.
You do?
I think everybody
nuts.
believes the buzzer.
No. Think about how silly that really is. You think all these years later, nobody would have spilled the beans? Nobody said a word?
Yeah, but it was so awkward the way he was hiding something.
No, he had a stupid tattoo and didn't want people to rip his shirt off.
Oh, get out of here.
I believe that.
Who on earth?
Sure. Wait a minute,
Anyone I know with a tattoo wants to show that tattoo more than anything in the world.
Wow, you guys, I thought I was the conspiracy theorist around here. You guys sound whack.
They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Welcome into the show on this Monday. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. It is Maggie and Perloff across the country on CBS Sports Radio. You want to watch the show? Come on in, say hi to the Weedos in the chat, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio. Now, we're going to take a break from football just for a moment, but actually not really, because our next guest is one of the most notorious sports gamblers in history.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a long history of sports betting, probably going back to the Roman Coliseum, but I feel confident in saying that he is one of the most notorious sports bettors. And the reason I say that is because whether you've heard his name or not, you are familiar with one of his longtime betting partners, and that is Phil Mickelson. Yeah. So Phil Mickelson, who has battled, has been open-ish about his gambling addictions and the fact that he really does love to gamble. He partnered with Billy Walters for about 5 years, and they made millions together. And they bet on everything together, whether it was the NFL, college football, baseball. Yes.
It's amazing. I'm reading about him. All the other bettors say that he's the smartest sports bettor really that ever was. I mean, it's interesting the word you use, notorious or, most well-known. God, I would love that skill, Maggie, because I love betting, but there's nothing better than knowing, when you get a bet right, you're like, I'm smarter than the crowd. But
pat on the back.
Pat on the back, and you feel really smart when you win. Of course, we all know anyone who's bet knows reality. If it doesn't usually work out any better than, say, 50-50, that's incredible to me that he really is sharper than the house in many ways.
And while we're getting some technical difficulties all wrapped up here, what I think he would tell you and what he will tell you in just a moment is it's not chance. There's very little luck involved here. In fact, it's like a very intricate system where he employs, multiple people and has a network to try to get him the most information possible. So if you want to do this, it's not just like, hey, a whim here, I'm going to put, $20 down on the Cowboys. It's a 365-day a year kind of thing to be that good.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm still laughing at your intro. You say they used to bet on the Coliseum, the Gladiators.
Don't you think?
Yeah. I got a 50 spot on Marcellus over here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of assuming.
Yeah, they didn't have. By the way, DraftKings and FanDuel were not around that time, but they would have advertised like crazy back then.
I know it would have been like Octavius here for FanDuel. Use promo code Lion.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the big dominant house at the time was Caesars.
Yeah, of course. Thank you, Dad. Dad joke.
Well, I mean, appropriate.
Yeah. Okay, so while we get that all worked out, there is a little bit more we have to do while we get our technical issues resolved here. Stu, can we hit? I know you're busy.
Well, let's break down the.
You got him.
Okay, let's break down the 3 games Jim Harbaugh has to play. That Michigan has to play without Jim Harbaugh. The X's and O's.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to get past Bowling Green. No offense, but I think they're going to be okay. All right, still facilitating there. Yes, that is the big news of the day is Jim Harbaugh, and thank you for reminding me. Jim Harbaugh, a self-imposed suspension the first 3 games of this season. He at one point had a deal with the NCAA that he was going to be suspended for 4 games, That fell through. So now it's a self-imposed ban of 3 games.
Yeah, the interesting thing to me is you're so convinced he's going to the NFL. And I don't think you're just saying that as a bit like you really believe this is a one-and-done kind of year for Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah.
Where I don't know. I think Michigan's going to be very good this year. I don't think the suspension, I don't think we're going to remember it by the end of the year because they're going to be so good. They're going to roll through these first 3 and 4 games, 4th game being Rutgers. Why do you think if they're 11-1, go to the Final Four, I don't necessarily think that means he's more likely to leave? I understand he's going to be losing a lot of players.
Yeah.
But I just think that, you know what? Unless a great NFL opportunity comes there and they really want him, which has not worked out so far, I just don't understand. Like, why not just keep building what you're building in Michigan? You figured it out.
I think that listen, I think you get on enough of a high note, you're looking at a massive contract. I don't know exactly what he's getting paid at Michigan now. I know he did have to take a pay cut and then recouped that money back when Michigan went to the 2 straight Final Fours. But you could be getting, you're looking at what John Gruden made. You're looking at what Sean Payton is making. I'm not saying it's all for money, but you're talking about $18 million a year for Sean Payton or something like crazy. And I think that what had to happen is we need a little distance between the last famous college football coach flameout. Now, I know Harbaugh's had success at the pros. Hell, he went to the Super Bowl with the 49ers. But the Urban Meyer thing might have been like, bad taste in everybody's mouth. And it's like, all right, just get a little bit further away from that. College coaches could become in vogue again. Again, I know Harbaugh had pro experience.
I don't think that's totally fair since Harbaugh was so good as an NFL coach, to compare him to Urban Meyer, who was pretty much the worst.
Oh, the worst. Okay, so we've got it all worked out. There we go. Nice job by you guys. I know that was tough. Okay, so let's welcome in Billy Walters. He's the author of Gambler, Secrets from a Life at Risk. Billy, it's Maggie and Perloff. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you, Maggie.
Listen, congratulations on the book. And we got a lot of questions for you. But first, I got to ask you. So about how many times did a gun or a knife get pulled on you, Billy? Because I lost track as I was reading your book.
Well, too many times. But I only had guns pulled on me about 3 times. Had a knife pulled on me a couple times.
And for people who don't know a little bit about your story, sports gambler and one of the most successful sports gamblers, that we know of. But that's not how it all started for you. You kind of started as like a hustler. You held a million different jobs, kind of hard scrabble upbringing in Kentucky. And what eventually got you to the heights of the sports gambling world that you eventually achieved?
Really, Maggie, when I got out of high school, I went straight into business. I had no opportunity to get a formal education. I was married and I had a daughter, and I had a couple of jobs, but I went straight into the automobile business. I was in the automobile business for 16 years. And the entire time I was in the automobile business, I made a lot of money. Didn't accumulate any. I lost it all gambling. I lost it playing poker when I got off from work at night with pros, Sunday with guys who practice all week playing golf, or betting sports. Essentially, just picking teams like the average bettor does today, or the guys taking up sports the first time. I literally had no chance to win. I love the action and really enjoyed it. I also had an issue at that time, Maggie, in my life with alcohol. I didn't realize that I had a problem with alcohol because I didn't drink every day. But when I did drink, I would get hammered, and when I got hammered, my personality changed, or my judgment changed, and I did some very stupid things. And as a result, made a lot of money, didn't accumulate any money. My family lived well financially, but again, I love the automobile business. I was in it, did very well, but my first love was really gambling. It has been since I was a child.
Billy, the title of the book is Gambler, Secrets from a Life at Risk. But I've read in many places you've been called the greatest sports gambler of all time. So to me, I wondered, there's less risk in actual sports gambling for you than others. So the title was a little confusing in that sense. Could you take out a lot of that risk when you were at the top of your game?
Well, I had 25 of the smartest people in the sports world working for me. I had 7 of the brightest guys that in the business working for me independently. I spent millions of dollars every year on research and development. and I had a large number of people, involved. So that's the way I was able to stay out of the game, is because of that. And I realized in 1985, I began my sports betting career. I was a handicapper, with a pencil and piece of paper, like most guys in those days. And I met Mike Kent, who developed the first computerized sports betting program, and eventually we became partners. Initially, there was a group of people, and there were some things that happened. And initially, then eventually, it was just he and I. But I realized in '85 that his advantage was eroding, and I realized that if I didn't continue to reinvent myself, my sports betting career wasn't going to last a lot longer. That's when I went out and recruited these independent people and committed to spending millions of dollars yearly to upgrade the system and to basically stay ahead of the game. If I hadn't, I would have been, out of business a long time ago. Every handicapper I've ever worked with, after a period of time, they've all lost their edge. They ran out of ideas. Technology's caught up with them. Information's caught up with them. The market, people, you got more people today. You got very smart people, and everyone's trying to find and identify value. And so the competition's gotten greater. It's keener. And but I think it's a combination of, I got a lot of qualitative experience, which a lot of handicappers don't have. A lot of guys can write programs and they can spit out some numbers, but the qualitative side of sports betting is extremely important also. I've actually had some guys that worked for me, that's all they did was the qualitative side of it, and they were successful. And so long answer to a short question, but that's the way I've been able to maintain my advantage over the years.
Billy Walters is joining us. The new book is Gambler, Secrets from a Life at Risk, written with Armin Katayan, who is fantastic. And we know, Billy, you were subject of a 60 Minutes profile earlier, several years ago, and then now has led to the book. Okay, so one of the things that's being talked about quite a bit is your partnership with Phil Mickelson, which was, by all accounts, Billy, pretty successful over the 5 years that you guys partnered together. How is partnering with Phil Mickelson different than other partners that you had over the years?
Maggie, I'm sorry, excuse me. He was clearly extremely famous, and over the years, I've done business with a lot of partners, and I've done that, for a business reason. And Phil, we had a 5-year betting relationship. We had an 8-year friendship. We played golf, and I felt like that Phil and I had become friends. And, I think I've always kind of judged myself as being a pretty good judge of character. And I think, when I learned we weren't as good of friends as I thought we were, I think it hurt me a lot. But our betting relationship was, prior to Phil and I starting the relationship, he'd been betting sports for a long time, since, I know of it going back to 95. And I don't think, he hadn't done well. And when we started our partnership, we were successful financially, and we made some money. The bookmakers we were betting with were the same bookmakers that he had lost a lot of money to over the years. And after a period of a number of months, they cut him off. They said, look, we know these bets aren't yours, but you can start betting with us again if you'd like. And he reactivated another bookmaker he'd had for a period of time, and we continued our relationship on. We were betting the one bookmaker instead of the two. And then, that was essentially our relationship. And then we both got involved into an investigation into an insider trading case, as a matter of fact, here in New York. And the SEC was asking Phil questions, and we were obviously being asked questions. And Phil, in the investigation, the SEC took the Fifth Amendment. And when I learned of that, I was really surprised, because he had nothing to hide. He'd already told me he had met with the FBI on 2 occasions and told him emphatically that I did not give him inside information. So when I confronted him and asked him why he didn't answer those questions for the SEC, he had another case that he was involved in with 2 other gentlemen, where he'd wired one guy $2.8 million, and for him to forward it on and to wire it offshore to pay a gambling debt for Phil. And his concern with that is that's the reason he didn't want to answer any questions. He was concerned they would ask him some questions about that. I pointed out to him at the time, I said, look, that's a separate investigation. This is nothing more, nothing less about stock trades. I mean, please just answer no questions. And it didn't happen. And eventually I ended up being indicted. And then Phil ended up the money back he earned, that he paid it back. And basically the perception was created out there that, with the public is, why would a guy give $1 million back in a stock trade if there wasn't something wrong with it? Either he bought his way out or he was an innocent victim in an insider trading case. But regardless, it made me look guilty. And unfortunately, it made me look guilty in the eyes of the public. So when I came to New York to go to trial, newspapers here, there was a lot of, writing about Phil Mickelson coming to the trial. And, all those stories were up on the Internet. So I'm sure the people on the jury had questions about when he was going to testify. As a matter of fact, a couple of prospective jurors, they asked if Phil Mickelson was going to testify. So when I went to trial, Maggie, there was one fellow who testified against me. His name was Tom Davis. 2 years prior to me being charged, he had given a voluntary interview to the FBI and the prosecutors and told them emphatically I did not give him any inside information. I'm sorry, he didn't give me any inside information, excuse me. And then what happened is the authorities continued to investigate him, and they learned that he had embezzled some money from a battered women's charity. He'd filed a fraudulent tax return, and he had actually given inside information to someone else. So 2 years later, he went and decided that he would be willing to change his story if he could get off. And so he hired an attorney here, a former prosecutor. He went in and he had 29 meetings with the FBI and the prosecutors to finally get his story the way it worked. And then, so when I went to trial, I actually made a mistake, Maggie. I should have testified in my own trial.
Yeah, they generally don't. Wait, sorry, Billy. I just want to make sure for our audience they're understanding here exactly what's going on,
Sure.
Which is that you get indicted for insider trading. You're hoping that Phil Mickelson will testify and will basically exonerate you because you believed he had this information that could have exonerated you. He decided not to because he didn't want to be under oath because he had other, legal things out there, and his lawyers advised him not to take the stand. And because of that, you went to prison for, what was it, about 3 years or so?
I got a 5-year sentence, Maggie.
Yeah.
I did 31 months in prison. I was released because of COVID.
Got it.
And I got out on COVID, and then I was under home confinement for a period of time. Then President Trump gave me a commutation. It wasn't a pardon, and commuted a few months off of the home confinement. And then I went straight to probation. And President Trump, I've never met him. I've never done any business with him. I didn't contribute to his campaign. So, usually when you see these type things happen with high-profile individuals, there's always some thought about a relationship. I had none with him. As a matter of fact, I voted for his opponent in the election. But the merits of my case, again, I don't want to consume your show with the merits of my case. It's in the book. There's all kinds of government misconduct in the case. The lead FBI agent who's in charge of the entire case for 3.5 years prior to my trial, he was suspended from the FBI. The judge who was presiding over the case recommended he be indicted for criminal contempt and obstruction of justice, 2 felonies. And then when it came time, once we got in trial, the prosecutors described him as being so dishonest and so untrustworthy you couldn't believe anything he said. So one of the points I make in the book is when the jurors went back and they decided my fate, they were unaware of any of that. They weren't allowed to know that during the trial. And there were a couple, 3 other things. But back to Phil.
Yeah.
All I wanted Phil to do was come forward and just tell the truth. As he told me, he told the FBI on 2 different occasions. And he told me he would. And in the 11th hour, he didn't do it.
Yeah.
And I went to prison, and like I said, I had 31 months to think about it. And, my daughter committed suicide while I was in prison. And once she committed suicide, I knew then, based upon sports betting being legalized in the majority of the United States, so many new people and average bettors, they're going to get involved betting sports and understanding sports and the way I do. I wanted to write it for that reason, but more importantly, I had to write it to help other people I've had addictions in my life when I was younger, with alcohol, with gambling, and luckily, I've overcome them. I caught the lottery. I married an incredible lady almost 47 years ago, and so anyway, I wanted to share that with people. And again, Phil's only part of the story. He's 2 chapters of 28, and essentially what it really boils down to is 2 guys who had a business relationship. That one guy thought they developed a real friendship, and when that one guy needed someone to come forward and just be a stand-up guy and tell the truth, the other guy wouldn't do it. And
well, Billy, sorry to cut you off. One of the interesting parts though is about the phone call you got from Phil, where he wanted to bet $400,000 on the United States, basically on himself, to win the Ryder Cup at Medina, and it ended up becoming an epic failure for the Americans. So if he had bet that money, he certainly would have lost it. I mean, do you think you can say with certainty that Phil Mickelson has never bet on himself?
I can't say with certainty almost anything, but I will tell you this: in the entire relationship I had with him prior to that and after that, there was never ever any mention of him betting on golf or anyone else on golf or anything else. I got this call, and frankly, I was shocked when I got the call. And he wanted to bet $400,000 on the U.S. team to win the Ryder Cup. I mean, and my first question was, have you lost your mind? I said, don't you realize you're looked at as a modern-day Arnold Palmer, and don't you realize what happened to Pete Rose? And I said, I don't want any part of it. And that was pretty much, he said, okay, and we hung up. That was it. So based upon the conversations we'd had, all the betting we did on other sports prior to that and after that, I doubt if he ever bet on golf. And I never alleged he bet on golf. They issued a crafty response to that. He said he never bet on the Ryder Cup. I never said he did, but he never said he didn't attempt to bet on the Ryder Cup, and that's what's in my book.
Yeah. It's a fascinating book, Billy. It is. I'm sorry that we're flat out of time. We have to get to a break. Quite a life you've led, sir. I mean, it really is. And it was really entertaining. Again, the book is called Gambler, Secrets from a Life at Risk. The sports betting is part of it. Playing golf with Michael Jordan. Mm-hmm. How much you take from Jordan?
I like MJ a lot. He's really down to earth, very nice guy, extremely competitive, and the interaction I have with him, he's nothing but a class act.
Didn't answer the question, Billy. How much money do you take from him? Or did he take it from you?
Believe it or not, we played for a grand total of for $100 on 18 holes, and I actually did win $100. But that was our total bet. That either one of us had a risk was a $100 bill, and that's what we played for.
Billy, thank you so much. I'm so sorry. We are just flat out of time. Again, Gambler, Secrets from a Life at Risk. I really enjoyed it. I think you would too. Thank you, Billy. I hope to talk to you soon and cross paths.
Thank you, Maggie. I enjoyed being with you.
Appreciate you, Billy Walters.
Wow, what a story.
Crazy. We're so up against time because we had some technical difficulties there at the beginning. We'll come back. We'll react to that. A whole lot more to do. Maggie, Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Minutes remaining. Minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. Minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Time to answer our Ask the Pros question of the day, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Today's question comes from Kevin in Los Angeles. How was your vacation, guys? Well, that's very nice. You can submit a question by tweeting at CBS Sports Radio or at Maggie and Pearl using the hashtag #AskThePros. Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get guaranteed low prices and excellent customer service from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts. All right, my vacation was awesome. Went to Eastern Europe on a river cruise. Yeah, that's not what you expected to hear, is it?
No.
I was in Austria, the Czech Republic, Slovakia, Budapest, Hungary. It was awesome. But the highlight for me, the absolute highlight of my trip, on this river cruise, they had game night.
Yeah.
And everyone got into teams. There were 12 teams. I had my 11-year-old daughter, my 12-year-old daughter, and my wife,
okay,
who never watches TV.
Okay.
The theme was TV theme songs.
Okay.
And I was against groups of adults, like 8 to 10 adults. It was
so
me.
You were alone.
I was alone.
Yeah.
And they would play the theme song and put a clue. And I was like, I told my wife, I'm going to win this thing.
Yeah, I know. I feel like I would feel confident.
Yeah. I watched a lot of TV growing up.
Yeah.
So I didn't win. I came in second.
Good, though.
Wait till you hear the show I got screwed on. But I'm going to play it with you guys. Now, Stu has never watched a TV show in his entire life. So he's out. But Stu's going to play the song, and you and Mike We're going to try to guess what the show is.
Okay, we're going to guess the TV theme songs. Now, Samter and I have not seen these, obviously.
You have not seen these, and we'll do it this way. Whoever chimes in first wins the point. We're going to make it competitive, and I know how competitive you are, so you'll like this. Okay, Stu, you have the songs all queued up. All right, play the first song from the Maggie and Perloff TV theme song challenge.
I got it. MASH.
Boom. 1 point. Everybody got that one, by the way.
Yeah,
that was
no,
good.
this is a good one.
Okay.
I didn't know there was a movie, but I know the show.
Yeah, that was an easy one. You didn't even need the clue. All 12 teams got that one right. All right, let's go on to the second one.
Oh, got it. Golden Girls.
Oh!
I love this. I know.
Maggie,
I can recite the whole
if
thing.
you were on my team, we would have won. I'm telling you that right now.
Yeah, I know.
Keep going.
This.
Let's say
no, this is a
I knew
hard
this one. This was the one I knew.
This is the one you
One
knew,
of 5. This is the one I knew.
You knew Golden Girls?
I've seen Golden Girls. My mom used to watch
but I
Golden
get to
Girls.
hear more than one note.
Oh, come on.
Bing, I got it.
Okay.
Okay.
I like this game.
All right, next one. Stu, hit the music.
Oh, I got Sopranos.
Sam, are you awake here?
It's like she's guessing within 2 seconds.
I'm just listening to the music, and it's so obvious.
I need to hear "Got Myself a Gun" in order to know
You
it.
do? Not me. Those first couple notes, and I would get the chills. All right, well,
Okay, that
I'm
one was
cleaning
easy.
the floor with Samter here.
All right. Okay. Let's go a little, I'll give you a hint, a little older school with this one. Hit the music.
Oh, I got it. Magnum P.I.
Ooh. Magnum P.I. was one of the shows.
Oh, is it the other one?
Going
It's-
Airwolf?
What do you go?
I don't know.
No, it's Hawaii Five-0, maybe?
Hawaii Five-0 was also one of the shows, and that is not Magnum P.I., and it is not Hawaii Five-0.
Okay, I don't know this
Play it a little more, can you?
L.A. Law?
You are on the right track. It's the wrong city.
Jump Street.
Oh, it's the right...
It's a 2-word show based on a city.
Axe doing the robot. Why are you doing the robot?
Ack, you know this.
I'm spelling it out. I'm trying to get
You're doing YMCA?
Yes.
YMCA?
No, not YMCA.
No, like you're spelling out. Ack was doing like
spelling
M
out
with
the
his body.
words.
I just don't know it.
Crockett, Tubbs.
A show I've never
And
seen.
you?
Oh,
obviously.
Miami Vice.
This is Miami Vice? I feel like I've heard it, but that wasn't it.
I didn't know that. I never
That's
watched
the
Miami
opening,
Vice.
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, your family's going to be a no help on this thing.
Yeah, so
Your
by the way,
daughters are 10 and 11.
They did Hawaii. Yeah, my daughters had no idea.
13 and 11.
Yeah, my daughter's like, if it's the summer I turn pretty on Netflix, I can get it.
Is that a
if it
theme
was
song?
modern shows, she'd kill it. Okay. So I got them all. I got Hawaii Five-0.
Wait, that was it?
No. There's one more.
Okay.
I got Hawaii Five-0. There was Bonanza, which I did not know, but somebody 2 tables over yelled, "Oh, I think it's Bonanza." So I wrote it on my slip of paper.
Nice.
Bonanza, got it.
If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
But this is the one question I got wrong, and Barbara at the other table got it right. Play the song.
Oh, got it. Growing Pains. Yes.
Bingo.
Give me a little...
Maggie, if you were on my team,
who
we
is
would have
it?
won.
He passed away.
Alan Thicke,
Alan Thicke.
who wrote a lot of these TV themes.
Ack would have been good, too. So
Was that
I did
Candace
not...
Cameron was on that one?
Yeah.
And
No, Kirk.
No,
Cameron.
Kirk
Cameron, sorry.
So they gave a clue, too. They said the 2-year-old character was recast as a 7-year-old in the second season.
I mean, I would...
So everyone put Full House. We thought this was the Full House.
No, this is Growing Pains.
So my initial thought was I was about to jump in with Full House, but Maggie just
No, Full House
knew
is...
everything.
It's like the piano
Oh, my God.
at the front.
You would have been a ringer.
That's
I should have
impossible what
used
you
you.
just did. It's one thing to hear a theme and to know what it is, to like off the top of your head, just like, here's the theme to X. Like,
you can't do the theme to Saved by the Bell?
Well, Saved by the Bell, because there's actual words to it. Yeah, Saved by the
Okay.
Bell I can do.
Wait. Saved by the Bell? I don't know if I can...
When you wake up in the morning and the sun is going to take it
Yeah.
off.
There we
By
go.
the time I got my books and I give myself the look,
I'm
What?
I'm at the corner and the time to
just
see the bus drive by. It's all right, because I'm saved by the bell.
Oh, I know, like the end. I'm Saved by the Bell. Yeah.
Well, congrats.
Oh,
Perloff,
Love
you came
Boat was
in
on there, by the
second.
way. Love Boat, and they actually played It's the Love Boat.
Yeah,
So
that's
everyone's
a
like,
tough one.
It's the Love Boat.
Yeah, that's a little on the nose.
Yeah. But like, kids even get to watch sitcoms? Like, do they still have iconic sitcoms?
Do shows have themes anymore?
Well, it's Seinfeld, Sex and the City. I mean, there's other good themes.
Those are
Game
30
of
years
Thrones.
old.
Thrones has a good opening.
That's 15 years old. Is there any show in the last...
Succession? I don't know.
Does Succession have like an opening riff? With music?
Succession is a great opening riff.
We're talking about Growing Pains and Full House. You don't give me a dark HBO show. Are there like fun sitcoms that have little ditties? We don't know them. Probably Disney shows.
Yeah, I don't know.
How I Met Your Mother?
I never watched that.
Well, I don't know what that
kind of does. Yeah.
Friends?
That'd be a good one. Probably a little too obvious, but yeah.
I mean, they played The Love Boat when it said The Love Boat. It doesn't get more obvious than that.
Yeah, everyone. So the winning show was Growing Pains, and I got it wrong. I said Full House.
What did the person who won? What did they win?
They won like a hat and a box of chocolates. I got nothing.
That could have been us.
Yeah, and then the next day, they had 2 game nights. The next one of them was you had to name these. You basically had to name the artists of different songs, and they're all 70s songs. And I had no idea.
Terrible.
Yeah.
I thought it would have been fun if all of a sudden they put up Immaculate Grid. And Perloff would have been like, I've been waiting my whole life for this.
Do you guys know who wrote September? That was one of them.
Yeah, Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Earth, Wind, and Fire. So you might actually killed this one, too. Do you know who wrote the song Aquarius?
Fifth Dimension.
Yeah, he would have dominated.
Ack would have been dominated.
The first one, Give Me Some Lovin'.
Spencer Davis Group.
Yeah, but it was a latter version that, you would have had trouble. Some of them were really...
Grateful Dead give me some.
Yeah, anyway, it was good. This was great. This was the most
good
fun.
loving, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we should continue this TV theme for
You would do game night here on the
I think you're a total ringer, Maggie.
Listen, I also watched a lot of TV growing up, and the theme songs really got stuck in my head.
Oh, gosh. All right, we have to develop this because...
Greatest American Hero.
Can we compete against other shows or somebody? Like, what is it? Is there an Olympics out there for naming TV show themes?
I mean, we got Ackerman, we got you, me, Samter, Stu.
See, I'm really good at being like, oh, I know that one, and then not knowing which one it is.
You were just barely hearing a note before Maggie got out the answer.
I had no shop. I'm just saying, like I heard the Golden Girls one. I'm like, oh, I know this. I need like a few seconds to kind of think about it, and then I can get it. I'm not good in lightning round style.
Jeffrey House said Curb Your Enthusiasm. That's another one.
Yeah, but I don't think these were all like sort of popular CBS. It used to be ABC, NBC, and CBS.
Yep.
And 40 million people watch every episode of Fantasy Island. It's nothing like that.
No,
Dukes of Hazzard was one of them too.
I wouldn't know that.
Just a good old boy.
Yeah, Ack would know. Ack would have been awesome.
Ack's got to go with
next
you on
time
your next family vacation.
When I go on one of these cruises, I'm bringing Ack.
The Perloffs and Ack.
Like, who's that? Like, don't worry about it. He's here for game night. Is he Ack by the pool?
You should see if you
brought in the ring. We brought in the ringer.
You should see the blank face on my 11-year-old daughter. I'm like, that's MASH. She's like, what? What are you talking about?
I'm just glad your kids looked up from their phone long enough to just play.
One real quickly about vacation, and I hope my daughter's not listening. But we'd be like at some historic place in Prague or something, and looking up at this beautiful church. My daughter's staring at her phone, and I actually said to her, "I'm like, honey, have you been here before? You seem completely you don't want to see the most historic thing, like so and so happened here." She's like just reading Snapchat. I'm like, yeah, I get it. It's a way to sort of because it was so boring for teenagers, but they loved it though.
Sure.
And they're so connected, by the way. They're Snapchatting every part of the vacation to their friends.
Well, yeah, if you got to show that you're there. You know, if you didn't snap, it didn't happen.
Yeah, I put 3 tweets and 2 Instagram posts.
You got to document the trip.
Yeah, and anything eventful happened to you, Meg?
Nope, we ate ice cream every day.
Soft
generally
ice cream?
Before noon.
I'm going with your family next year.
Yeah, you're welcome. I said eating ice cream on vacation is like watching someone drink alcohol at the airport. It's like it's 6 a.m. Someone has a beer, but it's like I can't really judge you because you could be in a different time zone. You could be jet lagged. Who knows what time it is in your body clock?
So if you ate ice cream before noon, though, weren't you hungry for ice cream again by dinner time?
Well, then we'd have a cookie or something. My kid can't wait to go on vacation again. He doesn't understand why we can't have ice cream all the time.
All rules were off?
Everything.
And when you say your kid, you mean you?
Yeah, that's my euphemism. 855-212-4CBS, 8 like a 4-year-old. 855-212-4227. Okay, a lot more to do here, including what we haven't gotten to yet. Jerry Jones. Again. Hear what he had to say to Peter King. We'll get to that after this CBS Sports Update. Here's Zach.
CBS Sports Radio. Sports Flash.
My friends Maggie and Perloff went on vacation. All I got was his lousy T-shirt. Josh Jacobs still seeking a long-term deal and has yet to report to the Raiders. However, that could change soon, with reports saying the disgruntled running back will sign his franchise tender before Week 1. Michigan head coach Jim Harbaugh was facing a 4-game suspension from the NCAA that fell through, but he'll sit for the first 3 games. Self-imposed ban, the result of illegal contact with recruits during COVID. Harbaugh will miss the Wolverines games against East Carolina, UNLV, and Bowling Green. Defending champ Georgia boasts 4 players named to the AP All-America team, including tight end Brock Bowers. Heisman Trophy winner Caleb Williams of USC headlines the team, which also includes Ohio State wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr., one of 3 Buckeyes chosen. The Cubs looked like they were going to be sellers at the trade deadline until they got hot and improved their wild card chances and go for their 3rd straight tonight in Detroit. They currently hold the final wild card in the NL in a 1-game lead over the Reds, Marlins, and Diamondbacks, all of whom are in action tonight. I'm Rich Jackson.
Looking for CBS Sports Radio online? Your favorite hosts and the best sports content and entertainment are available 24/7 on social media and YouTube, and in the palm of your hand with the free Odyssey app.
CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
To the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff, Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio. We'll get to Jerry Jones's comments to Peter King in just a moment, but not before our shot of the day.
He shoots!
And the shot of the day is brought to you by Casamigos Tequila. Casamigos is brought to you by those who drink it. My vacation also brought to you by Casamigos. It was very fun. Okay, earlier in the show, Perloff has expressed his what used to be a like has now turned into a complete infatuation with Packers quarterback Jordan Love.
I'm just looking at different photos of Jordan Love to decide what should his hair length be when he gets his statue in Canton for the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, oh, wow.
Because I've seen enough.
Told you.
I've seen enough in 2 preseason games.
When he played in regular season games, which was very sparingly, he was fine. He was okay.
But he's young. This is Green Bay Packers. This is what they do. It just feels like it's going to be a 3-decade succession of good quarterback play. Jordan Love, I'll tell you right now.
Good. You had 2 first ballot Hall of Famers,
yes,
and then Jordan Love. We don't know.
I will admit that maybe
That's
second
excellent.
or third ballot. Maybe third ballot. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not going to admit that. There's no way Jordan Love's waiting until the third ballot to get in. He's going to be presented. Green Bay, first of all, everyone loves Green Bay quarterbacks in the Hall of Fame. No, I am really excited for him. He reminds me of Hurts in his development. I think he's going to have a good year, okay year. You know, it's his first year. Kind of like
they're making the playoffs?
I think they're going to be 9-8. I think they're going to just miss it.
And
I think
whatever that means. Yeah.
I think the Lions make the playoffs out of that division, to be honest. But my point is, it's going to be a little like Aaron Rodgers. He got in, and he was okay. 28 touchdowns, 13 picks his first year, and then exploded. I think Jordan Love has the potential to explode by his second year. I think everyone's going to be into it. Also, too, I think everyone wants him to do well. I get the sense that they're ready for a fresh start in Green Bay, just as Aaron Rodgers was ready for a fresh start in New York.
Well, there's no doubt about that. I mean, Rodgers looks totally rejuvenated. Yeah. You know, here's another thing about the say that happens with Jordan Love.
Yeah.
And say you have Love sits behind Rodgers and then comes out and is like house on fire and like, you know, got to sit and develop and this is going to be great and they're set with quarterback for the next decade. And you see Mahomes sat behind Alex Smith. And you had, you know, Hurts sat behind Carson Wentz, right, for a little bit. And just like, there's always this rush to play guys. Like Anthony Richardson was named the starter for the Colts. Barely played college football, let alone pro snaps. Not even playing in the second preseason game because they're really, truly treating him like a starter. Like, don't we have enough evidence that probably sitting helps these guys, and yet we don't do it. We never do it. Bryce Young's the starter. C.J. Stroud's the starter. Anthony Richardson's the starter. Like the NFL just keeps making I don't want to say mistakes over and over again, but it looks like sitting, at least for a short amount of time, is obviously the way to go, but teams don't do it.
Well, Peyton Manning struggled
mightily his first year.
Yeah, so
don't you think he still would have had a Hall of Fame career even if he sat?
Definitely. But do you want next year in Arizona, you want Caleb Williams to really sit behind Kyler Murray? That's not going to happen.
Well, I don't think the two would coexist at the same time.
Yeah, and by the way, I don't think C.J. Stroud has officially won the job yet. It's got to be him, though, right? He looked much better this week. It's going to be rough for those rookie quarterbacks. I heard you were talking about that when I was gone. It is.
Not a
they are
believer.
not set up for success.
Who's
but
got the best situation? Like nobody.
I actually disagree with you.
Maybe
I
Bryce Young.
think you take your lumps on the field, learn that way.
Yeah, if it was me running a team, I wouldn't do it. I would at least have him sit, the first 7-8 games, something like that, before getting thrown into the fire. All right, let's get to the Cowboy Quickie. Jerry. This time, talking to our pal Peter King in Football Morning in America. Said, quote, "You shouldn't give up the ghost because you fall short in a highly competitive league. Just because we haven't won it in so long doesn't make what we've done meaningless." And I think this year we're in a better position to win than we have been in years. We have the team, we have the quarterback. Let me just underline, just because we haven't won it in so long doesn't make what we've done meaningless.
Right.
That is essentially the pat on the back for the double-digit win seasons. That is when you say you want to win a Super Bowl, but you're actually okay with being just relevant and being a competitive team. Because this amounts to like a participation trophy. That's what Jerry wants.
That's not.
Because when the standard
disagree.
is Super Bowl, and it's Super Bowl, I hate to do the Derek Jeter thing, but any season that doesn't end in a Super Bowl would be considered a failure when you're really holding yourself to that high standard. Cowboy Quick.
I don't think that's what Jerry wants. I think that he's reconciling what's actually happened.
Right.
He's looking backwards. He's not saying that we'll be fine winning 11 games. Well, I guess he is kind of. But I think he's just talking and sort of rationalize the fact that he hasn't won since basically Jimmy Johnson left. I know they won 1 year with Switzer.
But Jimmy's players,
yeah. I think that's his rationalization of the past. I think he desperately wants to win and prove that he really is a genius who can win a Super Bowl.
maybe, but I mean, he's saying not everything has been meaningless. Okay, so between your last two major quarterbacks, Dak Prescott and Tony Romo, you got 4 playoff wins between the two of them.
Wow.
I mean,
I didn't even realize they had that many.
2 for Dak and 2 for Romo.
You had Dez, was it a catch or not a catch? You had the Romo fumble.
Yeah, it's trips to Cabo. Okay.
You had Dak Prescott losing track of the time in the last second. You had whatever that was last year against San Francisco.
Yeah, the last minute of the game was just like a 3 and out. So,
I think he's just sort of rationalizing. I understand what you're saying.
This goes back to my theory here, which is people say, and Jerry says, I want to win a Super Bowl. I don't think so. I think he might want to, but I don't think that's number one. He's got the most valuable franchise in the NFL, maybe in all professional sports. He's already in the Hall of Fame. He's got the gold jacket. And I don't know. I mean,
I don't think what's valuable.
If the urgency was there, why did you hang on to Jason Garrett for so long?
What does Jerry Jones care about having the most valuable franchise in the sense that he's not going to be around to spend it? So
sorry, the reason why is because he's the most powerful owner too. Maybe him and Kraft.
Yeah, but I think that he walks into that room and he knows he has not won a ring in a long time. Whoever won has their chest out a little bit and can sort of walk into that owner's room with a swagger.
Clark Hunt is coming in and be like, Jerry, take a seat.
Clark Hunt is a player. When Clark Hunt walks into that room with a woman on both arms being like, what's up, the Hunt family in the house? It's epic. The stories about him in owners' meetings, getting on the table, dancing.
Wow. Like Perloff on vacation out on the dance floor.
Clark Hunt is really sort of the owner, like the no, I'm just kidding. Clark Hunt seems like a humble man, to be honest.
I was going to say.
But I think
you painted him
I do think Robert Kraft is shoving it in his face a lot.
Okay, but Kraft's not in the Hall yet.
Yeah.
So Jerry's got that over him.
But honestly, whose ownership would you rather have? I'd have Kraft any day of the week. Who cares about the Hall? He's got all the rings. Actually, Jerry's got 3 rings, too, so I guess that's not the best challenge. By the way, are we ready for the Ravens' 24-game preseason win streak? Be snapped tonight against the Commanders. You see it happening.
You like preseason too much. Thank you to Mike Samter. Thank you to Stu Kovacs.
3.5-point spread.
Thanks.
I like the Commanders.
Thanks to Billy Walters. That was a heck of an interview. Weedos, Purple Drankers. It's great to be back. We'll see you tomorrow.